Chapter 397. So, you came here today to destroy my last chance? Alan's face darkened. There's one more thing. I need your help with Lu Shuang. What are your conditions? Tell me. Wu Nian raised her chin and said. What if I ask you to stay by my side for a year? Alan asked. Wu Nian was silent for a while. Alan chuckled. Forcing my goddess to do something she doesn't want to do is not something I want to see. Don't worry, I will help you. I don't need any conditions. I just hope that we can still be friends when we meet again. I still remember that you said that you would cook for me. Wu Nian looked at him gratefully. Alan ruffled her hair. Actually, I've thought about it a lot these few days. I know that when you said you wanted to date me, it wasn't because you liked me. You had too many considerations and scruples. Perhaps you were using me, but you did attract me. I want to get rid of some people, so it's better to find a boyfriend. That's why I chose you, Wu Nian explained. You are so beautiful, strong, brave, kind, loyal, smart, and beautiful. But I only have a gorgeous appearance and a flashy background. My health is not good, Alan said sadly. I've slit my wrists, been poisoned, jumped into the sea, had plastic surgery, married twice, changed my name and started a new life. I'm not as perfect as you think I am. Even if it was my own father, I never thought of forgiving him. Alan, I thank you for what you did for Lu Shuang. If one day you are in trouble, I will do my best, Wu Nian promised. You've already treated me as a friend by telling me this. I won't betray your trust. All these secrets of yours will never leak out from me. If you're in trouble, I'll do my best. Alan promised with a smile. Wu Nian leaned forward and hugged Alan. Thank you, and I'm sorry. I've said it before. You don't have to apologize to me. I'm willing to do it, Alan said in a low voice. Wu Nian let go of Alan. Thousands of words were left unsaid. She thanked him for his help, for his dedication, and for not asking for anything in return. Then I'll get off, Wu Nian said. Let me know one day in advance when your friend is coming to England, Alan said with a sad look in his eyes. Yes. Alan smirked. You're in room 1809. I've already booked you. Although we can't be lovers, we can still be friends. Let me be your host, okay? All right. I'll go upstairs to put my luggage down. Wu Nian pushed the door open and came down. Alan also got out of the car and helped her with her luggage. When are you leaving? Tomorrow. Just one day. Alan was a little disappointed. There are many famous attractions in London. You might not be able to see them all in one day. Where do you want to go the most? Is there anything you want to recommend? If you're not tired, put your luggage down. I'll take you somewhere. Alan smiled. Wu Nian nodded. Okay. Alan drove for 2.5 hours and arrived at a church. This church is modeled after St. Paul's Cathedral. Behind the church is a miniature version of Buckingham Palace. You can eat, race and play golf here, Alan said. Wu Nian got out of the car and looked around. It's a very unique English church, but there aren't many visitors. This is my grandmother's place. It's not open to the public. Huh? Your grandmother? Wu Nian had a strange feeling. With her current relationship with Alan, it wasn't appropriate for her to meet Alan's elders. Alan could tell that Wu Nian was worried. Don't worry. My grandmother really wants to see you, but she respects me very much. I'll tell her about our relationship. Also, my grandmother has a very good friend who's from country A. She'll be very happy to see you from country A, but I didn't bring a gift. Wu Nian wasn't used to meeting elders empty-handed. You're the best gift. You just need to chat with my grandmother, Alan said. If she went, it would be unreasonable for her to leave. Alan brought her past the church to the miniature version of Buckingham Palace. As they walked into the magnificent hall, she saw an old grandmother making tea. Grandmother, this is Wu Nian. She's my friend from country A, Alan introduced with a smile. You're from country A? Alan's grandmother smiled and looked at Wu Nian. She said lovingly, good, very good. Xiao Tang is also from country A. Hello, grandmother, Wu Nian greeted respectfully. Come here. Alan waved at Wu Nian and ordered the servant. Bring me the photo. Wu Nian looked at Alan awkwardly and walked to her grandmother. Her grandmother looked at Wu Nian with a smile. Alan mentioned you to me. He wants to break off the engagement and marry you. I think you're a good person. I've decided to break off the engagement. Well? Wu Nian looked at Alan again. Grandmother, Xiao Nian and I are just friends. However, we still have to break off the engagement, Alan explained. What? Didn't you say that you like her and want to marry her last time? Don't bully me because I'm old. I still remember, her grandmother said anxiously. I thought too much last time. Xiao Nian and I promised to be friends. All right, grandmother, Xiaoyan is a guest. Alan changed the topic. Her grandmother understood. She sighed and smiled at Wu Nian with pity. The servant brought the photo album. Her grandmother opened it with nostalgia and pointed at a photo of a woman wearing a cheongsam. This is Xiao Tang. Wu Nian was shocked. Your woman looks exactly like her mother? Xiao Tang was a pitiful person. She came to America with her husband and left her parents to take care of her. Her parents were on their way to find her when there was an earthquake. They all died, her grandmother explained. They all died. Wu Nian was a little dazed. Does she have any relatives alive? Her grandmother shook her head. She didn't know how to give birth. Her husband married another wife and gave her husband a son and a daughter. However, it has nothing to do with Xiao Tang. Xiao Tang was depressed and passed away when she was in her 40s. She was my best friend. Wu Nian looked down. Her mother was an orphan. She looked too much like the woman in the photo. She might have survived. However, Xiao Tang was dead and her mother had gone crazy. It seemed like there was no need to keep in touch. Xing Bechuan had abandoned Bai Bing because she was an orphan and didn't have a prominent family background. If Bai Bing hadn't been separated from her parents, she would have been a socialite. She wouldn't have been abandoned and wouldn't have gone crazy. Unfortunately, there were no ifs in the world. Chapter 398. During the day, Gu Lingqing didn't call her. After returning to the hotel arranged by Alan in the evening, she called Gu Lingqing. Hello. Wu Nian spoke first. Gu Lingqing responded with a deep voice. My problem is solved. Wu Nian said. Gu Lingqing only responded with a sound indifferently. Then good night. See you in Paris tomorrow. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone on the other end. Wu Nian had a strange feeling in her heart. It was as heavy as a stone pressing on her heart. She wanted to call Gu Lingqing again, but she didn't know what to say. She wasn't someone who was good at talking. She put her phone on the bedside table and went to the bathroom to take a shower. She thought of an article that she had read before and felt that it was very useful. The general content of the article was, a man worked for 3 years and wanted to go home. His boss gave him 3 pieces of advice. The first was, don't try to find impossible shortcuts. There are no shortcuts in this world. The second was, don't be overly curious about things that you know are not good. You may lose everything because of it. The third was, don't make any decisions when you are impulsive. It may make you regret it for the rest of your life. When the man went home, he didn't take a shortcut. Instead, he chose the main road with many people. He stayed in a hotel. When he heard a woman crying and screaming, he didn't come out. The person who came out was killed by the crazy woman. When he got home, he heard other men's voices. He didn't kill his wife impulsively. He found out that the man was a child. Wu Nian turned off the shower. So she shouldn't call Gu Lingqing. Even if he seemed unhappy now, the most he could do was break up according to her original plan. She should calm down and live every day in a down-to-earth manner. That way everyone would be safe. She took a shower and turned off her phone. She lay on the bed and didn't think about anything. Sleep. She didn't know how long it had been before the doorbell woke her up. Wu Nian turned on the bedside lamp. She stepped on the disposable hotel slippers and got out of bed. She looked through the peephole. It was Gu Lingqing. She opened the door in surprise. Why are you here? When Gu Lingqing entered, she smelled a strong smell of alcohol. Just as she closed the door, he pushed her against the wall and kissed her forcefully. Wu Nian pushed him. He held her waist so tightly that she couldn't breathe. He was too strong and domineering. She couldn't even resist. Half an hour later, she finally calmed down. Gu Lingqing carried her to the bathroom, brushed her teeth, washed her face and didn't say a word. He didn't say a word. He was drunk today, so he probably wouldn't listen even if she tried to reason with him. But that wasn't good. After washing up, he took a towel to wipe her face. Nian. Gu 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 woo. And woo woo woo. A sharp light flashed in Gu Lingqing's eyes as he turned around and left. Didn't Gu. Gu didn't want to gu gu. Ling gu gu gu. She didn't want to talk to him. She lay in the bathtub. He was still there. Just as she was about to fall asleep in a daze, she felt the bed beside her sink in. A hand held her waist. Wu Nian turned around and met his deep eyes. There was a sour feeling in her heart. Don't you think you're too overbearing? Don't you think you're too domineering? Wu Nian looked at him. Wu Nian turned around and faced him. What are you thinking? I feel like you're unhappy every day. I'm not a parasite in your stomach. Go to sleep. It's late. Gu Lingqing turned off the lights. The room was dark. Go to sleep, it's getting late. Gu Lingqing directly turned off the light, and the room fell into darkness. Go to sleep. It's late. Gu Lingqing turned off the lights. The room was dark. Wu Nian looked at him again. What's wrong? Wu Nian looked at him again. What's the matter? I'm thinking, how much longer are you going to hide it from me? Or have you already guessed that I know who you are? Gu Lingqing said. I'm wondering if you're still her. Or you're not her anymore. Gu Lingqing stood up. I'm wondering if you're still her. Or you're not her anymore. Gu Lingqing stood up from the bed. His face was serious. Wu Nian's face turned pale. She understood what he meant. You think I'm Baya? Even though you knew I was waiting for you, you pretended you weren't. Even though you knew I didn't like you and Alan together, you stayed until dark. Even if I wanted to have sex with you, you resisted. From the beginning to the end, I was the one who forced you. I kept you in my mind, but you wanted me to let you go. 3 years, 2 years. It's been 8 years. Our child is already 7 years old. I thought that if I continued, I would make you suffer. I can't see the future and happiness. So, Baya, I should give up on you. Wu Nian looked at Gu Lingqing. Also, don't look for little Yen anymore. Right now, little Yen only thinks that his mother is dead. If one day he finds out that his mother is still alive and by his side, but she doesn't recognize him and isn't with his father, he will hate you. Moreover, I will get married again. Your existence will make it difficult for Xiao Yan to get along with his new mother. Don't worry, Xiao Yan is my child. I will take good care of him and train him. Although I'm strict sometimes, I believe my future wife will treat him like her own child. I will look for a partner who can take care of my child. Gu Lingqing said coldly. Wu Nian didn't say anything. She lowered her eyes and tears fell quietly. Gu Lingqing sneered. Even though he said so, she didn't express her desire to be with him. There's no need to say goodbye. Gu Lingqing turned around, opened the door and went out. He closed the door for her. This was the result she wanted. She wanted to push the man she loved out of her world and live alone from then on. But what was the point of her living? Perhaps she shouldn't have lived at all. Wu Nian didn't fall asleep again. She sat on the bed in a daze. Her eyes were red from crying and she made a decision. In the morning she bought a plane ticket back to a land. When she went to the sanatorium to see Bai Bing, she received news that Bai Bing had committed suicide. Wu Nian was shocked. He ran to ask the doctor, why did Bai Bing commit suicide? She was fine before. I don't know. Sorry, she suddenly hit her head against the wall. We went in immediately, but she was already dead. Are you her family? The doctor asked. Where is she buried now? Wu Nian asked. Because she doesn't have a family, we will deal with it as if she had no family. Please follow me, the doctor said and brought Wu Nian to the cemetery behind the sanatorium. Bai Bing had been buried. The grave was new. The name carved on the tombstone was Bai Bing's grave. Daughter Baya. Baya knelt in front of the grave. Chapter 399. After paying respects to her mother, Baya called Lu Shuang. Xiaonian, I have good news for you. Shinian has signed the contract with Mo Shui. He promised me that I can travel for a month with Xiao Bao. My good days are coming, Lu Shuang said happily as soon as he answered the phone. Yes, I am happy for you too. Live for yourself. Live a wonderful and open life. Although it will be ordinary, you will be far away from danger. You will be happy because that is what you want, Wu Nian said with a smile. Yes, I have to leave Shinian first. He has a wife and he is the president. Once I am exposed, I will be a sinner. Maybe I will be written into history as a temptress who brings disaster to the country and people. Then I will be unlucky and will be infamous for thousands of years. Yes, when are you going to leave? Wu Nian asked in a deep voice. I still have one thing to deal with. I'm not worried about you now. You have Alan and Alan will protect you. I'm worried about my parents. I have to let them retire first, and then I will find a friend who can help them change their identity. Will my parents agree? Lu Shuang was worried. Then be honest with them. Then be honest with them and tell them about your situation. You're their only son. Although you're no longer related to them, your parents don't have children yet. They still treat you as their only daughter, Wang Yao said. I had a bad relationship with them. Xiaonian, can you help me to find out what they want to say? Lu Shuang asked. Yes, I will ask them out tonight. Tonight? Lu Shuang scratched his head. Should we meet first to discuss what to say? No, I know what you think. I will talk to your parents and contact them at night. Wu Nian hung up the phone. She had a phone call from Lu Shuang's father. Who is it? The old voice of Lu Shuang's father sounded. Wu Nian felt a little sad. This old dean, under the attack of time, was also on the verge of death. Hello, I'm Lu Shuang's friend. I have something to discuss with you. Are you free tonight? Wu Nian said politely. I don't have such a daughter. Lu Shuang's father hung up the phone. Wu Nian sighed and continued to call Lu Shuang's mother. Hello, I'm Lu Shuang's friend. I have something to discuss with you. Do you have time tonight? It's very important, Wu Nian said softly. Shuang's friend? Mrs. Lu hesitated. Back then she left you because she had her own difficulties. She was forced to give birth to that child because she wanted to protect it. Little Shuang, is she doing well now? How can a mother and daughter hate each other overnight? Even if she gave birth before marriage, we will only contact her. How can we not forgive her? Why do we have to break off our relationship? Mrs. Lu's voice was choked with sobs. That's because she wants to protect you. Can we meet tonight? It's better to be more secretive, Wu Nian suggested. Little Shuang's father is more stubborn. I have to slowly persuade him. Come to Iran's spa and enter a private room. My friend opened that room. I can get the key to the small door and come in directly. Okay, I'll go to Iran now. See you later. Wu Nian hung up the phone and went directly to Iran's spa. The streets of City 8 changed every year, and now they were beyond recognition. When she was a child, her wish was to make a house. She wanted to stay in the place she wanted to stay forever. Nowadays, houses were often demolished, and they were as fragile as human lives. While her thoughts were running wild, she arrived at Iran's spa and followed the receptionist into private room 203. I want a rose aromatic bath, but not now. I'll wait for someone first. Is that okay? Yes, then you can rest first. When you need it, just press the server on the table, the receptionist said with a smile and handed her a cup of lemon tea. Thank you. Can I trouble you to leave for a while? It won't take too long. Oh, okay. The receptionist gave Wu Nian a strange look and went out of the room. Wu Nian texted Lu Shuang's mother, I'm in private room 203. She had just sat down on the sofa when Lu Shuang's mother came in from the small door and locked the door. She asked anxiously, What's wrong with little Shuang? She hasn't come home and she doesn't even call. She doesn't come home on New Year's Day, and her father is so angry that he's sick. I'm sorry, Lu Shuang has her own difficulties. She provoked someone she shouldn't have provoked and was forced to have sex with him. The other party also didn't allow her to abort the child. Otherwise, the people she cares about will be in danger, especially you. She was worried that she would drag you down, so she broke off the relationship with you and hoped that you wouldn't be involved. Now, Lu Shuang has a chance to leave that man, but she wants to leave this country and live an incognito life. She's worried that after she leaves, that man will deal with you, Wu Nian explained. Lu Shuang's mother frowned and asked several questions in a row. Who did little Shuang offend? She's too straightforward, but she's not a bad person. I've always told her to be careful with her words and actions. What should she do now? Where is she going? Will she never come back? Then what about me and her father? No. Her father misses her so much that he's sick. I can't tell you who she offended for now, but that man is powerful. One word from him and the whole country will tremble. His power is beyond your imagination. Is it Shinian, the current president? Lu Shuang's mother asked suspiciously. Wu Nian paused. She didn't expect Lu Shuang's mother to be right. Lu Shuang's mother could tell from Wu Nian's eyes that she was right. I knew it. He always provoked little Shuang when he was young. I also said that this person actually became the president. I didn't expect that he would treat little Shuang like this. He's already married. Little Shuang hates mistresses the most and hates being tied down the most. She must be very sad now. Mother Lu said. Lu Shuang's mother's eyes were red and she wiped her tears. Fortunately, she has a chance to escape now. She also found a way to help you change your name and live a new life. Although you can't contact your old friends, you're not in danger. I don't know if you're willing. Can't we go with her? Where does she go? Where do we go? We can find new friends, we can find new jobs, and we only have one daughter. We can still take care of her. Lu Shuang's mother said sadly. That's the best. I can arrange it. I don't know what Director Lu thinks. Old Lu actually cares about little Shuang more than I do. He just doesn't understand. Now that he knows all this, he's definitely willing. Lu Shuang's mother said with certainty. If you're willing, give me a call. I'll arrange it. Lu Shuang's mother looked at Wu Nian. Thank you. It's my duty. Wu Nian smiled. Chapter 400. Wu Nian didn't want Lu Shuang to worry too much, so he made a call. What did my parents say? Lu Shuang asked anxiously. Your mother not only agreed to retire, but she also wants to go with you and take care of you. Really? Lu Shuang was excited. Yes, she also wants to persuade your father. Don't worry, your father loves you more than your mother does. He knows you have difficulties, so he will definitely go with you. Also, since your parents have been contacted for safety's sake, don't meet them. Xinyan is a cautious person. It's better for us to be careful as well. Yes, it's great that my parents are willing to go with me. I have enough money for us to live for the rest of our lives. Except for not being able to see you, I don't have any regrets. Lu Shuang said with tears in his eyes. All good things must come to an end. It's my luck to be friends with you. You must be happy. Wu Nian smiled. I promise you I will be happy. Lu Shuang promised. Wu Nian was soaking in the rose-scented bath, quietly closing her eyes and enjoying the comfortable massage. Guest. Wu Nian was woken up by the beautician and opened her eyes. You've been soaking for 2 hours. It's not good to stay in the bath for too long, the beautician said gently. Sorry, I fell asleep. Wu Nian stood up. The beautician wrapped a towel around Wu Nian. Maybe because of the long soaking, she was short of oxygen and her legs were weak. She lost her balance and fell into the bathtub again. Wu Nian held her forehead and said apologetically, I'm sorry, I can't seem to do anything well. How much do you need? That's not necessary. If you like, you can apply for a card. If you apply for a card, you can charge 1,000 yuan and get 200 yuan free. You can use the spa, massage, and accommodation. The beautician introduced enthusiastically. Do you have accommodation here? Yes, on the 3rd floor. Standard room with a king-sized bed. They are all 580 yuan. If you want a spa, you can get a 30% discount. We provide door-to-door service. How much will I get if I top up 10,000 yuan? If you charge 1,000, you'll get 200. If you charge 2,000, you'll get 500. If you charge 5,000, you'll get 2,000. If you charge 10,000, you can get 5,000. Do you want to do it now? Okay, help me get one now. Okay. The beautician beamed with joy and took good care of him. After Wu Nian topped up, he directly checked into the guest room. The room looked good. It was a dreamy pink color. The bed and sofa looked relatively new. There was a treadmill in the room. She quite liked it. Lying on the bed, he connected to the Wi-Fi and checked the price of the yacht. The price of the 11-meter-long cruise ship was less than 400,000 yuan. Looking at the photo, it was not bad. The cabin was converted into a room with a bed, a TV, a shower, and a bathroom. The stern was converted into a kitchen. Under the pavilion was a dining table. At the bow of the ship, 2 reclining chairs could be placed. The cockpit was above the cabin. The experiment was wide open. However, driving a boat required a driver's license. She then checked where she should go to get her driver's license. The people who sold the cruise would arrange the test. She checked her account again. She had 22 million yuan in savings. It seemed that she could not spend the money. She could buy a big one. She casually browsed through it until it was 3 o'clock in the morning. She turned off the web page and put her phone on the bedside table. Lying on the bed, she still could not fall asleep. This situation was very bad. She seemed to have started to lose sleep again. She got up again and ran on the treadmill for an hour. She was tired and fell asleep. The room was very good. She slept until she woke up naturally. She took out her phone to check the time. She forgot to charge her phone yesterday. The phone turned off automatically when it ran out of battery. She immediately charged her phone. When she went to the bathroom to wash up, she heard a text message notification. Would there be a call from Gu Lingqing? Wu Nian shook her head. Why would Gu Lingqing call her? She was thinking too much. Thinking about it, she found it funny. She had already completely pushed Gu Lingqing out of her world, but she was still looking forward to it. When a person's heart and mind were not in the same position, contradictions and troubles would arise. She should have been more clear-headed, so that she would not cause an irreversible situation. After washing up, she came out of the bathroom and picked up her phone. They were all calls from Lu Shuang and Lu Shuang's mother. She was very sorry that her phone turned off automatically. She did not act as a bridge of communication in time. She called Lu Shuang's mother first. Did something happen to Shuang? Lu Shuang's mother asked anxiously. Sorry, I overslept. Nothing happened to Shuang. Don't worry, Wu Nian said softly. It's good that nothing happened. His father has agreed to go with Shuang. What do you think we should do? We will listen to you. But before we go, can you arrange for us to meet Shuang? Lu Shuang's mother breathed a sigh of relief. Yes, I will call Shuang first. I will get back to you in 10 minutes, Wu Nian said. After hanging up, she called Lu Shuang back. Xiaonian, where are you? What did my parents say? Lu Shuang was also anxious. He had inherited this temper from his mother. I'm in room 506 of the guest room above the Yiren Spa. I'll be staying here for a while. Your parents have agreed to go with you, but they want to see you. You come to me now and we'll go to the spa together. There's a little door and your mom and dad can go. Come here. Okay, I'm coming now. Lu Shuang hung up the phone in a hurry. Wu Nian was coordinating from the inside, allowing Lu Shuang to meet her parents. They were chatting while she stood guard outside. She estimated that she and Lu Shuang would part ways in less than a month. More or less, she felt sad about parting. She didn't want to show it and affect other people's feelings, but she really felt sad. An hour later, Lu Shuang came out of the private room. His eyes were still red. He held Wu Nian's hand and said, Xiaobai, thank you. You don't have to thank me. That's because of your own feelings. Let's go. Let's have dinner together tonight and then go to the bar. Consider it a farewell before parting. Let's get drunk, Wu Nian said with a smile. Let's go. Let's get drunk. Lu Shuang put his arm around Wu Nian's shoulder. He had solved one of his worries and was happy. They went to the famous Lanting Hotel in City A. The salmon with flowers here is very delicious. The squirrel climbing trees is also delicious. There are also corn pancakes, immortal roast duck and crab tofu. I ate these last time when Xinyan brought me here. Lu Shuang ordered the dishes and added freshly squeezed cereal juice. When are you going to travel? Wu Nian asked. My parents' matter has been resolved. I'm going out next Monday. They will sign up for a British tour. I'll tell you the details after I'm done. They can't sign up for a British tour. First, if Xinyan knows that you're going to Britain, he will definitely guess something. He can easily cancel the tour, and your parents won't be able to go out, Wu Nian reminded. Chapter 401. Your parents have signed up for a tour group around the UK. I'll contact Alan and ask him to pick them up, Wu Nian suggested. You're so smart. I thought too simply. I'll do as you say. Please help me contact my parents. Okay. After dinner, they went to a nearby bar. They drank a lot and were drunk. Then they went to a karaoke bar. Wu Nian ordered a lot of songs. She sang and shouted hysterically. Lu Shuang drank a lot too. He couldn't take it anymore and fell asleep on the sofa. Wu Nian asked for a blanket from the waiter. She draped it over Lu Shuang and continued to sing. Her last song was Goodbye. I'm afraid that I won't have the chance to say goodbye to you, because I might never see you again. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm leaving this familiar place and you. My tears are falling. I'll remember your face. I'll cherish the love you gave me. These days will never be erased from my heart. I can't promise you that I'll come back without looking back. I'll walk on without looking back. She sang to the sad part. She drank a big glass of red wine and lay down on the sofa. She had drunk a lot. She should be drunk. But her mind was abnormally clear. She didn't want to sleep. She picked up her phone and found Gu Lingqing's number. Before she could wrap her mind around it, she pressed the dial button. Gu Lingqing hung up and didn't answer. Wu Nian twitched the corner of her mouth. Tears rolled down from her eyes. She closed her eyes. It was better not to answer. She felt dizzy and wanted to sleep. Then her phone rang. She saw that it was Gu Lingqing's call. She picked it up subconsciously. What is it? Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. He was very quiet. His voice sounded very cold. Wu Nian was silent. Gu Lingqing sneered. I told you not to contact me again. You seem to have forgotten. Baiyo, what do you want? Sorry, wrong number. Wu Nian hung up the phone. After some thought, he blacklisted Gu Lingqing's number and deleted it. She couldn't call Gu Lingqing anymore. She couldn't. Feeling sad, he poured himself another glass of red wine and drank it all. In the end, he didn't know how he fell asleep. He was woken up by the waiter in the KTV room. Her head was still hurting badly. She was worried that Lu Shuang would talk nonsense, so she brought Lu Shuang to her room and slept until someone knocked on the door. Wu Nian got up and opened the door. Xinyan stood at the door with a straight face. Her sharp eyes glanced at Wu Nian. Her eyes were as deep and serene as a 10,000-year-old ancient pond, but there were hidden waves surging. She seemed to know something. Wu Nian was trembling with fear. Where is she? Xinyan asked coldly. She's still sleeping. She went to the KTV and sang very late last night, Wu Nian explained. I'm afraid she didn't just go to the KTV. Xinyan looked at Wu Nian and said. Wu Nian smiled and lowered his eyes. He didn't reply to Xinyan. At this time the more he said, the more wrong he would be. Xinyan walked into the room. Lu Shuang was sleeping in a mess. One of his legs was outside and his clothes were brushed over his stomach. One of his hands was pressed behind his head, and the other was lying casually. Xinyan went over and carried him up. She straightened his clothes. Lu Shuang opened his eyes and saw Xinyan. My head hurts. I want to sleep. You didn't drink too much last night and it won't hurt anymore. Are you happy to see your parents? Xinyan asked. Lu Shuang looked at Wu Nian. You told Xinyan? Wu Nian was speechless. Lu Shuang was too naive. She managed to trick her. Shuang misses her parents very much. It's not too much to meet them. Wu Nian said for Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang looked at Xinyan. Of course it's not too much. But there's no need to sneak around. If you want to see them I can arrange it, Xinyan said in a low voice. Whoever started the trouble should end it. I'm afraid this matter is not something that you can arrange. Wu Nian was worried that Lu Shuang would make mistakes if he said too much, so he interrupted. Can you solve the problem that I can't solve? Xinyan said coldly. For example, contact Alan and ask Lu Shuang and her parents to leave? Wu Nian's heart skipped a beat. Xinyan knew their purpose clearly. I don't think I have this ability. Does the president think I do? Wu Nian asked calmly. Xinyan lowered his head and looked at Lu Shuang in his arms. Don't do something that you'll regret, okay? Xinyan gave people a dangerous feeling. He was like an awakened beast, as if he would be swallowed by him if he was not careful. What's wrong with you? You're acting weird in the morning. Don't vent your anger on me. I'm not your doormat. Lu Shuang struggled to get off him. He hugged him tighter. It's past noon now. It's a long time since the morning that you mentioned. Besides, I never vent my anger on you. I'll only vent my anger on you. It seems that your subordinates are in trouble every day. You're over 30 this year. You should control your temper. Lu Shuang lectured him. Xinyan put Lu Shuang down on the bed and looked at Wu Nian. You'd better get out unless you want to watch the battle. Wu Nian, she blushed and looked at Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang struggled but couldn't get up. Xinyan, you're bullying a defenseless woman and a child. What kind of hero are you? Are you a defenseless woman and a child? You don't know how powerful your mouth is. Xinyan retorted. Wu Nian, she left the room and closed the door for them. According to the usual practice, she wouldn't be able to see Lu Shuang today. Wu Nian walked out of the room and followed the address on the internet to the cruise ship sales office near the sea. The salesman walked up to her enthusiastically. How can I help you? I want to buy a cruise ship about 20 meters long for my own residence. It should have all the facilities. The equipment inside should be more advanced. It's best if it can be piloted as long as the coordinates are set. Wu Nian made her request. We've launched a new model of cruise ship. All the equipment inside is imported. It's exactly what you need. It's 22 meters long and 8 meters wide. It has 3 floors. The salesman took out a brochure. He continued. The ground floor is a warehouse with a fridge for food and sundries. There are 2 rooms of 20 square meters on the first floor. One is a bedroom and the other is a living room. There's also a kitchen that leads to the underground storage room. There's a bar in the kitchen. There's a viewing room and an operating room on the second floor. There's also an open-air viewing platform and fishing platform on the roof. Also, if you buy it now, we'll give you a lifeboat. It's usually placed by the side of the ship. Once you're in danger, you just need to press the emergency button. It can be lowered in a minute and automatically filled with air. Sounds good. How much is it now? Wu Nian was tempted by the picture. Miss Wu, why are you here? A man's voice rang out. Wu Nian turned to look at him. She didn't know him. Chapter 402. Wu Nian replied. Her eyes were covered with a thin veil. I'm here with a friend. I won't disturb you then. Okay. Zhang Xingyu replied. Miss Wu, the original price of this model is 1.08 million, but we're having a promotion now. The price is 980,000, so you can enjoy a discount of 100,000. In addition, we also have exquisite gifts for you, such as a rice cooker, an oven, and a lucky draw. You have a chance to win a refrigerator. There are also electric motorcycles and motorboats. The salesperson introduced enthusiastically. Leave your name card with me. I'll tell my friend. If she needs it, she'll contact you later. Wu Nian said with flagging interest. Okay. The salesperson still handed her the name card with enthusiasm. Wu Nian walked out of the sales office. She did not go back. Their place was close to the sea, so she went to the pier. There were many people selling seafood there. There were octopus, swimming crabs, hairfish, shells, prawns and some sea fishes. The air was filled with the smell of fish. There were many fishermen but there were not many people buying. Wu Nian wanted to buy swimming crabs. But then she thought about it. There was no kitchen in her hotel so she gave up. She walked casually by the sea, enjoying the salty sea breeze. She remembered that she and Gu Lingqing were sitting by the sea, enjoying the sea breeze. The fire in the pile of stones was very hot, and the wild boar stewed bamboo shoots in the pot was bubbling. The fire dyed their faces red. There were only the two of them there but she did not feel lonely. Her heart had never felt so peaceful before. Now she was alone for the rest of her life. She wandered around the bustling city. Other than feeling more lonely, there was not a day that her heart felt at ease. She did not know where she was going, nor did she know where she could stop. Every day she lived in loneliness and despair. In front of her, an old lady carrying a bamboo basket fell to the ground. She ran over and wanted to help her up. "Old lady, are you okay?" The old lady sat on the ground and grabbed her hand. She shouted, "Help! Someone hit me." Wu Nian looked at her and asked calmly, "Are you sure you want to do this?" "Miss, this is the blind spot of the camera. I just need to insist that it was you. I don't want much. Give me 200. Otherwise I'll make things worse." The old lady lowered her voice. The corners of Wu Nian's mouth twitched. Using the kindness of others to extort money, even if you live comfortably in this life, there will always be retribution on you or your children. "What did you say? Believe it or not, I will tear your mouth apart," the old lady said fiercely. She had learned one thing when she was studying psychology. Because of lack of confidence or extreme fear, people would put on a more ferocious front to hide their inner uneasiness, or in other words, they wanted to escape from something. The old lady was stunned. She was stunned when she saw the old lady. The old lady was stunned. The old lady was slightly stunned. She took the money and Wu Nian turned to leave. She sat under the shade of the tree for a while, staring at the blue sea in a daze until the sun set. She took the money. Wu Nian turned and left. She sat in the shade for a while, staring at the blue sea until the sun set. She found a seafood buffet. The moment she entered, she saw a girl putting the food on the table. Therefore, some people like to live for others to see and find a sense of existence in the envy and praise of others. She chose a seat and casually ate something. She took out her phone and played Hank the dog for a while to pass the time. Her phone rang. It was Lu Shuang. She picked it up immediately. Lu Shuang did not say anything. Wu Nian had a bad feeling. Lu Shuang was not like this usually. "What's wrong? What happened?" "Sheniyin will accompany me for a week on this trip. He will increase it when he's not around. He should know that I'm leaving. What should I do?" "The people he sends must be elites," Lu Shuang said worriedly. "Don't worry. There's no such thing as an impenetrable wall. Sheniyin's guards are the same. I have an idea but it may put Sheniyin in danger. The more dangerous Sheniyin is, the less his people can take care of you, and the more likely you are to escape," Wu Nian said thoughtfully. "Put Sheniyin in danger?" Lu Shuang paused. "Although he always forces me, if I let him die, will it cause turmoil in the country?" "It will only put him in danger. He won't die." "Yes. Okay. I guess we'll go on a trip the day after tomorrow. I hope everything goes well," Lu Shuang prayed. "Should be, but... However, I guess Shiniyin will confiscate your phone during the trip." Wu Nian guessed. "Then what should I do?" "I know of a reagent that is injected into the arm. Ordinary instruments can't detect it. Only professional instruments can monitor and track it. I'll contact them. I should be able to find it. Let's meet tomorrow." "Okay. Have you had dinner?" Lu Shuang asked. "I've eaten. I'm going back." "Where are you now?" "I'm already in the manor. See you tomorrow." Lu Shuang hung up the phone. Wu Nian called back. When she was in the car, she thought for a long time about who she should ask for help. She couldn't ask Gu Lingqing and Su Jiran didn't want to provoke her anymore. It seemed that only Alan could help her. However, it seemed that she would never be able to pay back what she owed now. Therefore it was difficult for her to speak. In the midst of conflict, she arrived at Iran Clubhouse unknowingly. She entered the room. The room had been cleaned and the bedsheets had been changed. It was as if no one had stayed in it. She threw her bag on the sofa and sat on the sofa alone in a daze for a while. Dignity and shamelessness didn't seem to be important in the life of a friend. She dialed Aaron's number. "My grandmother was talking about you just now and you called." "What a coincidence," Alan said with a smile. No matter when she called, he would be clear. Wu Yin felt warm in her heart. There's one thing. When Lu Shuang comes out, there might be guards following him. Moreover, I can't get in touch with him. As long as he comes to England, even if there are a few guards, I'm confident that I can help you save your friend. Don't worry. But I might not be able to contact my friend, so I don't know where they are. Alan chuckled and said confidently, I have England's heavenly eye. No matter where they are or what they are doing, I can find them. Just leave it to me. Don't worry. Hearing Alan's words, she seemed to be relieved. She didn't even have to think about how to transfer the guards. Thank you, Alan. You're welcome. We're friends, hee. We're friends? Wu Yin repeated Alan's words and hung up the phone. Chapter 403. Wu Yin came to the door and looked through the peephole. There were two men in suits. She had a bad feeling and didn't open the door. Miss Wu, we know you are inside. Open the door. Mr. Shin asked us to come. The man outside said. Wu Yin furrowed his brows. Mr. Shin? It was Shin Yin's men outside. She opened the door and asked, Shin Yin, what's the matter? Mr. Shin asked us to pick you up. You'd better ask Mr. Shin in person. Got it? Wu Yin closed the door and followed them. After getting in the car, they confiscated her bag and put a blindfold on her. Wu Yin had expected this result. Shin Yin had never been easy to deal with. He had stepped on many people's bodies to get to where he was now. His ruthlessness was self-evident. She leaned back in the chair calmly. When a person had seen through life and death and had no nostalgia for the world, he could still be calm in the face of great danger. The car drove for more than an hour and made a turn every 10 seconds. As far as she knew, there was no such road in City A, so she might be in a secret underground base of Shin Yin. After making a turn, the car drove for another 10 minutes and stopped. Someone took off her blindfold. Sorry to offend you, Miss Wu. Please follow me. The man in black military uniform said coldly. It doesn't matter. Wu Yin got out of the car and followed the man in black military uniform. She stopped after passing several doors. There were 8 soldiers stationed in front of this door. Wu Yin guessed that it was where Shin Yin was. The guard knocked on the door. Come in. Shin Yin's voice came from inside. The guard opened the door. Wu Yin saw Shin Yin sitting at the desk. He was looking down at the documents. When he saw Wu Yin coming over, he closed the documents, put them in the briefcase and ordered, "Get out." With a command, the man and woman who were originally in the room left the room and closed the door. There were only the two of them in the room. Shin Yin stood up and asked lightly, "What kind of wine would you like to drink?" Wu Yin slightly raised the corner of his mouth and calmly said, "Red wine." Shin Yin walked to the wine cabinet and opened a bottle of Lafite. Then she took 2 wine glasses and put them on the tea table. When she poured the wine, she said, "I didn't expect Lu Shuang to have such a powerful friend." Wu Yin sat down on the sofa opposite Shin Yin. "I didn't expect that Shuang Niu would provoke a president." Shin Yin handed the glass to Wu Yin. "Strictly speaking, I'm your savior." Wu Yin took the wine glass from Shin Yin's hand. "Strictly speaking, I never wanted to live." Shin Yin raised her eyebrows. "Then I should thank you. If it wasn't because Lu Shuang wanted to save you, he wouldn't have stayed by my side and wouldn't have given birth to my son. I'm trying my best to make up for the mistakes I've made. Mr. President, you must have guessed it." Wu Yin raised his head and drank the wine in one gulp. "Aren't you afraid that I'll deal with Gu Lingqing?" A cold wind flashed in Shin Yin's eyes. "Isn't Gu Lingqing someone you've always wanted to deal with?" "It won't change because of me," Wu Yin said calmly and put down the glass. "I've always thought that Gu Lingqing was an invincible person. However, he has a weakness and that is you. Now, it seems that you're the true invincible person. Since that's the case, let's make a deal." Wu Yin looked at Shin Yin's overly sharp eyes. "I don't think there's a deal between us." "I love Lu Shuang," Shin Yin said in a low voice. Wu Yin's heart skipped a beat. He frowned and looked at him suspiciously. He didn't believe it at all. "Otherwise, why do you think I tried so hard to keep her by my side? I knew that once she was exposed, I would lose my reputation, but I still kept her. She scolded me thousands of times, but she could still live safely," Shin Yin said firmly. "Do you think Su Jiran loves me?" Wu Yin asked. Shin Yin pursed her lips and stared at Wu Yin. After 10 seconds of silence, she said, "Do you think Su Jiran doesn't love you?" "I don't see love in him, only possession and destruction. Similarly, I don't see love in you, only possession and destruction. Look at your place. The walls are made of copper and iron. Even your desk is made of composite materials. That's because you know how dangerous your situation is. I can guarantee that once Lu Shuang's identity is exposed, the first person to die will not be you but her. That can be seen from the murder at Stephen's place. Do you think your subordinate is the mastermind? Wu Yin said sharply. I can guarantee that as long as I, Xinyan, am alive, she will definitely not die, Xinyan promised. You and Shuang Niu have known each other since you were young. You should know her as well as I do. She is simple, loyal, straightforward, impulsive but kind. She will never plot against others or plot against others. She doesn't like restrictions. She likes a free life. As long as she wants to do something, she will do it naturally and naturally. Look at what you are giving her now. A restricted life without freedom. She is struggling at death's door every day. She can't move freely and she has to be separated from her children. She is like a canary in a cage. Most importantly, she has to bear the crime of being a mistress. If you were an ordinary person, it would be fine. But you are the president. You will be recorded in the history books. She will be written as a femme fatale and become notorious. So, she would rather lose everything to fly freely. Xinyan gritted his teeth. His eyes were sharp. He said with certainty, then I will break her wings. At least as long as the master doesn't fall, the canary's life will not be in danger. Shuang Niu will hate you for the rest of her life. Xinyan threw the wine glass in his hand to the ground. He held Wu Yan's shoulder and looked at her deeply. I love her. You are destroying her. In my opinion, a married man has no right to love another woman. I have never touched my wife. Lu Shuang is my only woman. One day I will make her my legitimate wife, but not now. I have my responsibilities and my family's mission. My wings are not fully grown yet, and there are still many people eyeing me covetously. Once I decline, they will accompany me to the grave. Once I fall, there will be hundreds and thousands of people. You should not drag Shuang Niu down. She is innocent. Wu Yin said with pity for Lu Shuang. That is why I want to negotiate with you. I will let Lu Shuang go, but you must tell me where she is. When I solve all the problems, I will go find her. I believe that no man in the world will love her more than me. Only I can give her true happiness. After all, Xiaobao is my son. I don't think other men will love Xiaobao sincerely. Xinyan's eyes were misty. Chapter 404. She had seen many breakups and reunions in the world. Some people were very loving in marriage, but after 10 or 20 years they got divorced, and after the divorce they would never contact each other again. Marriage was as thin as paper, and most of the time, the best bridge to maintain a marriage was children. Children were the things that truly existed, and they were much more useful than a marriage certificate. Regardless of how much he loved Shuang Niu, there was Xiaobao between them. He had seen too many joys and sorrows, and the weakness between family, friends, and lovers. Xinyan was willing to risk his reputation to keep Shuang Niu by his side. Although he was autocratic, Shuang Niu could be willful in front of him. On the other hand, it showed that he really doted on Shuang Niu. Shuang Niu might not encounter such a pure love in the future. I can help you, but I need you to promise me a few conditions. Wu Yin softened his tone. Say it. Xinyan released the hand that was holding Wu Yan's shoulder. First, before you get divorced, you can't go find Shuang Niu. Wu Yan talked about the conditions. And Xinyan agreed without thinking. Second, if Shuang Niu finds the man she loves before you solve the problem, you can't disturb her life. Xinyan's eyes hit a cold light and he said coldly, yes. Third, if you are still the president when you marry her, Shuang Niu's personality is not very good at hiding, and she may be schemed against by others. You have to firmly believe in her, tolerate her, and help her. That's for sure. I won't let her suffer, even if I destroy everything. Other than me, no one can bully her. You can't either. Xinyan? He paused. Fine, I won't bully her. Let her bully me. I need you to swear that if you can't do the above, I will make your parents live a life worse than death, and your reputation will be ruined. Wu Yan looked at Xinyan's eyes. Vicious enough. Xinyan replied. Are you going to swear or not? Xinyan raised her hand. If I don't love Lu Shuang, I'll lose my reputation. If I don't do the above, I'll let my parents live a life worse than death. Is that okay? Wu Yan nodded. I'll tell Alan about Shuang Niu's last resting place. A glint flashed across Xinyan's eyes. She raised the corner of her mouth slightly and said, Then I'll have to trouble you. I'll get someone to send you back now. Besides, you know what to say and what not to say, right? What do you think? I don't know how Shuang Niu is so lucky to have a friend like you, Xinyan said meaningfully. Shuang Niu is a blessed person. Please send me back. After Lu Shuang settles down, I will tell you her address. Don't forget what you promised. Shenian closed her eyes, opened the door, and ordered the guard outside, "Send Miss Wu back." Yes. The guard led the way outside the door. Looking at Wu Nian's back disappearing in front of her, Shenian ordered the adjutant beside her, "I know where Lu Shuang is. Keep an eye on her 24 hours a day. I want her to never escape." Wu Nian was sent back. She looked at the time. It was already 3 o'clock in the morning. It should be 8 o'clock in the evening in London now. She dialed Alan's number. "You haven't slept yet?" Alan said softly. "Alan, there's a change in the situation this time. Shenian talked to me just now. He will deliberately let you leave Lu Shuang." Deliberately? What do you mean? Alan was confused. "You deliberately save Lu Shuang and settle her in England for 10 days. Don't let anyone take her away. After 10 days, transfer her to D-Land, but tell me her exact whereabouts. It sounds more interesting than before. Are you willing to tell me the reason?" Alan asked in a good tone. Shenian said that he is willing to set Lu Shuang free until he regains his freedom. "I want to test him and tell him a fake address to see his reaction. If he really does as he promised, I will tell him the real address." Alan smiled. "Can I say that the devil is 1 foot higher than the law?" "Ah, you are so smart. I will take it as a compliment." "Yes, but I might need your help too." Alan said awkwardly. "Go ahead." As long as she could do it, she would do it without hesitation. She didn't like to owe others, but she had owed a lot of people before. In her heart, she couldn't get over it, such as Lu Shuang and Mu Xiaoxiao. "My grandmother wants to come to a land next month. After all, you are my friend. I may have to trouble you to come out and meet me. I thought it was something important. That's what I should do. Text me when you confirm the time." "Well, okay. Go to bed now. It's late." "It's not good for your skin to sleep so late," Alan said with a smile. She felt relaxed when she was with Alan. "Okay, good night. See you next month." "Good night. See you next month." Wu Nian hung up the phone, took a shower, and lay on the bed. Her imagination ran wild. Every time she thought of Gu Lingqing, she would feel a faint pain in her heart. It was a very bad feeling. Fortunately, she would be free soon. Her heart would not hurt anymore, and all the feelings would disappear. She turned over, but her face was wet. Life was like a dream, smoke, and illusion. Most things would not go your way. She just had to get used to it. She fell asleep in a daze. When she woke up, it was already 12:20. After washing up, she called Lu Shuang. "What do you want to say?" "I've been waiting for your call for a long time," Lu Shuang said anxiously. "Alan said that as long as you go to the UK, he has the third eye and he can definitely save you." "Third eye? What third eye? Is he bragging?" Lu Shuang was worried. Wu Nian thought that Lu Shuang was anxious and his brain was temporarily short-circuited. She explained in detail, "It refers to the surveillance system. Now every road and every community has surveillance. As long as you go to the UK, he can use the surveillance system to find you quickly through facial recognition." Oh, I remember now. That's what it means. Recently, I haven't been eating well and sleeping well. I feel that my brain has declined. Hey, I can't take it anymore. I have to hang up. Shenian is here again. I'll talk to you later." Lu Shuang hung up the phone in a hurry. Wu Nian sighed. Even if Shenian really loved Shuang Niu might not be able to accept him in a short time. After all, they did not have a good beginning and their status was too far apart. She got up and her phone rang. She saw that it was a landline number and answered, "Who is this?" "Hello, Miss Wu. I'm from the yacht company. Today is the last day of the yacht that you liked last time. In order to show everyone's love for this yacht, we will reduce the price by another 50,000 yuan. On top of that, we will also give you a jet ski. If you miss today, you won't have another chance." "Well, I'll order one, but I want a brand new one. There must be no quality problems." "Don't worry, Miss Wu. Our company has been established for 30 years and has always had a good reputation. When will you pay the deposit?" "In the afternoon." Zhang Xingyu received the call and replied to Gu Lingqing, "Miss Wu really bought the yacht in her own name. Do you still want to buy it?" Chapter 405. Lu Shuang was going to England, and Wu Nian was going to see him off. Lu Shuang held Wu Nian's hand tightly and said reluctantly, "Xiaobai, don't bear the burden alone. You'll feel better if you tell me. When I'm not by your side, write it on the letter and pretend to tell me. Then you'll feel better." Wu Nian nodded. "Okay." Lu Shuang's eyes turned red. He sniffed and choked with sobs. "I'll miss you. Don't forget me. Let's be friends in our next life. Wu Nian saw Lu Shuang crying, and his tears flowed down instantly. He nodded and helped Lu Shuang wipe his tears. He said, "Remember, be careful with your words and actions. You can only rely on yourself outside. When you're very angry, listen to a song and calm down for 5 minutes before making a decision." "I will. Once Xinyan has a new lover, tell me. I'll sneak back to see you. I think he'll have a new lover soon," Lu Shuang said with hope. Wu Nian's eyes darkened. He did not say anything. Seeing Xinyan walking over, he said concisely, "He's here. Take care." "Okay," Lu Shuang replied. He couldn't help but feel sad. She didn't know when she would be able to see her good friend again after going out this time. Xinyan walked to Lu Shuang and put one hand in her pocket. She said meaningfully, "It's not like you'll never see him again. Why are you crying?" Lu Shuang wiped his tears. "Why do you care if I'm sad? Do you care about other people's feelings?" Xinyan held Lu Shuang's shoulders and pulled him into her arms. "Go out and have fun. I should be the one who's sad." He turned around with his arms around her. Lu Shuang looked at Xinyan in confusion. "You're a person who can come and go as you please. Why are you sad? Don't you know why I'm sad?" Xinyan and Lu Shuang's voices were getting further and further away. She didn't turn around until they got on the plane and it was out of her sight. Now, apart from waiting for news, he was going to get a yacht driving license. From the training ground to the restaurant to the hotel, and from the hotel to the restaurant to the training ground. It was much easier to get a driving license on a ship than a car. She got her driving license in a week and could drive her own cruise ship out to sea. The place she wanted to go the most was the deserted island. Fortunately, she remembered the latitude and longitude and adjusted it on the machine. The boat was driven by herself. She just needed to check if there was any mistake from time to time. However, before she left, she bought a lot of ingredients. It took 8 hours to drive from City A to the deserted island. She checked out of her room and set off at 8 o'clock in the morning with 3 barrels of diesel. The weather was good today. Perhaps it was because she was at sea. It was almost October and it was a little chilly. She wrapped herself in a blanket and stood at the head of the bed, looking at the endless ocean. This would be her future life. She would stay at sea for a long time without any signal and live a life far away from the world. Occasionally, she would go to the shore to buy some ingredients. She would not inquire about anyone's news. She would struggle to survive until she could no longer live. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, she approached the island. From afar, she saw something different. Using the binoculars given by the shop, she saw a house by the sea. She had a strange feeling in her heart. Who built a house here? Another 10 minutes later, the cruise ship approached the shore. She saw it clearly. It was a 3-story cement house surrounded by a 2.5-meter-high wall. Outside the wall was a circle of ditches for storing water. There was only one way to the iron gate. The iron gate was locked. The owner should not be inside. She did not expect that there would be people living here. If one family came, maybe there would be a second family. Or maybe she could teach here. Wu Nian did not get off the ship. She docked the ship 50 meters away from the shore. At night, she simply cooked porridge and scrambled eggs with tomatoes. After eating, she lay on the deck chair at the bow of the ship, covered herself with the quilt, and counted the stars in the sky. The cold wind blew. Even with the quilt, she felt cold to the bones. The colder it was, the lonelier she felt, even if she had arrived at the place she once wanted to return to the most. There was no man in this place anymore. She looked at the sky in a daze, thinking about what would happen after death, thinking about starting over, thinking about what if. Unfortunately, there was no answer in the end. She did not know whether to feel asleep or not. When she was in a daze, she felt that someone beside her was looking at her and lifted her quilt. She wanted to open her eyes but could not. She wanted to speak but could not. She wanted to sit up but could not move her body. After struggling for a while, she did not wake up, so she simply gave up. Life or death, it did not matter. Thinking of this, she felt her body was light as if it was about to float out of her body. She floated into the air and suddenly sank into unconsciousness. In the morning, she was woken up by the birds. Her head was dizzy and her nose was a little blocked, as if she had caught a cold. She sniffed her nose and got up to brush her teeth and wash up. She saw 2 wolves walking on the beach. Gradually there were 3, 4, 6, 12. One of the wolves saw her and howled. The other wolves looked at her. If she and Gu Lingqing had encountered this group, it would have been a fierce battle. Even if Gu Lingqing's marksmanship was good, he could not have killed so many of them. Therefore they were lucky. At least they did not die so miserably. Those wolves looked at her for an hour, but finally gave up and left with their heads down. Wu Yin cooked some porridge again. She put a few slices of ginger and red dates in the porridge and ate a bowl with tofu. After that, she ran on the treadmill for half an hour. She was so dizzy that she did not even take a shower. She took a pill and drank a glass of water. Then she lay on the bed and fell asleep again. When she woke up again, it was almost noon. Her cold did not get better. It got worse. Her nose was watery and her breathing was not smooth. She asked for it. She felt cold and shouldn't have laid outside to enjoy the wind last night. She cooked some porridge and lay on the bed to watch the movie she downloaded on the computer. She spent a week in a daze. The funny thing was that the wolves came for 5 days in a row. On the 6th day they judged that she would not go ashore, so they did not come again. On the 8th day she returned to City A. On the one hand she wanted to see how Lu Shuang was doing now. On the other hand she might not have received the message that Alan had told her when to come. She left at 7 o'clock in the morning. She would receive the signal at 14 o'clock in the afternoon. Her phone kept ringing. Many of them were from Shinny Yin and Alan. She called Alan first. "Where have you been?" "I couldn't find you anywhere," Alan said in a low voice. "I got my boat license and went out for a few days. There was no signal on the boat." "I'm sorry to have made you worry," Wu Yin said apologetically. "You are living a free life." Wu Yin just smiled. "Or I am stubborn. I have rescued Lu Shuang for 2 days. I will send the address to your phone later. I will transfer her in 8 days, right?" Alan said with certainty. "Yes, and make sure that no one takes Lu Shuang away during this period." Chapter 406. What's the matter? Wu Yin had a bad feeling. "Let's talk when we meet." Alan hesitated. Wu Yin heard his heavy tone and was a little anxious. "Since you've asked, you know that if you don't tell me, I won't be able to sleep every night." "Tell me." "I don't know. My grandmother has investigated you. She found out that you went to a sanatorium and met a deceased person. The deceased person looked exactly like my grandmother's friend. You were very sad in front of the grave. She wanted to know your relationship with the deceased person." Alan said in a low voice. "Mother, she is my mother by Bing. She grew up in an orphanage and tasted the bitterness of the world. She suffered from an incurable mental illness." Wu Yin didn't hide anything. "Then you? Maybe you're the descendant of my grandmother's friend?" Alan's tone was very regretful. "I don't know. My mother is already dead. I had a bone marrow transplant and my DNA has changed. Maybe the DNA in my brain and spleen hasn't changed, but it's not convenient to extract them. Besides, even if I'm proven to be the descendant of your grandmother's friend, it won't change anything for me. Besides, even if it's confirmed that I'm the descendant of your grandmother's friend, it won't change anything for me." Wu Yin explained. "What if your grandfather has always wanted to find you? After all, you're the only descendant of his beloved wife. He feels that he owes his wife. He will make it up to you." Alan tried to sound her out. "I don't need to make it up to him. His wife is already dead. No matter how much I make it up to him, it will only make him feel better. His wife can't feel it. If he didn't treat his wife better when she was alive, it would be too late for him to treat her better after she died. Since he has done what he owes, since he owes her, he will owe her for the rest of his life." Wu Yin said coldly. "What if I ask you to see her?" Alan said in a low voice. Wu Yin looked down. If it wasn't for Alan's request, she would definitely not meet him. She knew that once she admitted it, many people, things would be involved. She would also mess up other people's lives. She didn't want to. But Alan's request, she twitched the corner of her mouth. She couldn't reject him because of his help. "Okay. On October 15th, your grandfather and my grandmother will come to a land together. See you then." Alan said with a clear voice. "Okay, I'm hanging up. Send me Lu Shuang's address." Wu Yin said and hung up the phone. He lay on the recliner and looked at the blue sky. The white cloud sometimes turned into the shape of a white horse, and sometimes into the shape of a mermaid. It was ever-changing and never fixed. Alan sent him a message. She sat up and called Shinny Yin. "I thought you had disappeared." Shinny Yin said in a weird tone. "I'm out to sea. There's no signal on the sea." "Sorry," Wu Yin said in a low voice. "Where is she now?" Shinny Yin asked angrily. Her breathing was uneven and it was transmitted to Wu Yin's ears through the phone. "Don't forget what you promised me. First, you can't disturb Shuang Yu's life before you regain your freedom. Second, if Shuang Yu finds a lover, you should help her. Third, don't bully her." Wu Yin reminded him again. "Are you done? If you are, tell me where she is." Shinny Yin said coldly. Wu Yin's eyes darkened. Shen Yin didn't agree. But if he went back on his word, she would make sure that he would never find Shuang Yo again. I'll send you the address. I hope you can keep your promise, Wu Yin said. He hung up the phone and forwarded Alan's message to Shen Yin. There was still 1.5 hours before the ship docked. She went to the kitchen to make egg fried rice and tomato shredded meat soup and ate a little. When she reached the shore, she replenished her water, fresh vegetables and fruits. She also bought 2 hens that could lay eggs, a poodle, some dog food, toys and a doghouse with a roof. She set off to the deserted island again. She made a circle with a mat on the roof and put the hens in. She made a pot with straw and covered it with a bamboo board. The doghouse was placed at the bow of the ship. She put the toys in the doghouse and set the automatic sailing at night to locate the deserted island. She went back to her room to sleep and set the alarm. It was 5:20 in the morning. The dog was barking so fiercely that Wu Yin was woken up before the alarm went off. She felt the ship shaking so much that she couldn't even get out of bed. She swayed and opened the door. The sea was stormy but there was no rain. The sky was slightly white. She closed the door and went to the bathroom to brush her teeth. She put on a jacket and walked to the bed. The dog saw her and barked even louder. Wu Yin carried it out. It was very dirty. She took the dog into the bathroom and put it in the sink to take a bath. The dog was very resistant at first. It struggled and tried to bite Wu Yin's hand. She gave the dog a few mouthfuls of dog food and it calmed down. Wu Yin helped the dog bathe and dried its fur with a hairdryer. What do you think of your name? Little Qing, how about this name? It sounds very sunny, Wu Yin said to the dog. Woof woof. The dog barked twice. Wu Yin gave the dog a biscuit. Then you'll be called Little Qing. You like it too, right? Woof woof. The dog barked twice again. Wu Yin gave the dog another biscuit. The dog was much more stable in her arms and no longer barked as before. Due to the wind and waves, the ship arrived at its destination 2 hours late. It was 8 o'clock when she arrived at the deserted island. The sun was out and the wind and waves had subsided. She was surprised to find that the previously closed iron gate was opened. She could see that there was a courtyard inside. There was a well and a parasol in the courtyard. Under the parasol was a table, a recliner, and a blanket on the recliner. There were 3 rooms in the 3-story building. There were several rooms upstairs and several more rooms upstairs. She was surprised and looked around. There were no beasts coming in or out. She remotely controlled the ladder and got off the ship with the dog in her arms. She slowly walked to the front of the house, knocked on the door and asked, "Is anyone here?" Woof 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 woof. The dog barked. No one answered her. Wu Yin was nervous and scared. She walked further inside and shouted, "Is anyone here?" Click. The door was opened. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. There was no surprise in his eyes. Perhaps he had recognized her when he heard her voice. Wu Yin's heart was beating fast. He said not to see her again. She had thought that this house was built by him, but she didn't think that he would come here after falling out with her. "I'm sorry." Wu Yin apologized and turned around. "Little Yin is sick," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Chapter 407. Thalassemia. He has been sent abroad for treatment, but the doctor said that the best way is hematopoietic stem cell transplant. My parents' blood is not suitable, Xiao Xian's blood is not suitable, and my blood is not suitable. What about me? Wu Yin's eyes dimmed. My bone marrow has been changed. Yours is not suitable either. Gu Lingqing looked at her and said. Wu Yin's mind felt empty. The sea breeze blew on her face, making her feel sad. In her life, she had less happiness than pain and more setbacks than prosperity. Nothing good had happened to her. Could it be that she had done too much evil in her previous life, and the retribution was on her child? A strange look flashed across Gu Lingqing's face. If we want to save him, we'd better have another child. Wu Yin raised her head and looked at Gu Lingqing calmly. Her eyes were too calm, without a trace of emotion. Gu Lingqing gritted her teeth and sneered. She said sarcastically, "Of course, if you don't want to save him, I won't force you. Maybe you can find a match in a few years and then you can leave. It's hard for me to get pregnant. You don't have to explain. It's your freedom to save him or not. Anyway, the child has nothing to do with you. You have never wanted him," Gu Lingqing said harshly. She turned around and closed the door. There was a loud bang. Wu Yin stood outside the door. There was a pain in her heart that slowly flowed into her limbs and bones. It was so painful that she was so numb that she was fixed on the spot and couldn't move. She had been looking for her child all the time. As long as there was a little news, she would try. As soon as she woke up, the first thing she did was to make sure that Gu Lingqing was safe. When she knew that her child was still alive, she was so excited that she cried. She had been in a coma for a long time. It was very painful to take medicine. She knew that she didn't want to see Gu Lingqing, because from the moment she jumped into the sea, she decided not to drag Gu Lingqing down. She wanted to see her child and take care of her child. Now in Gu Lingqing's eyes, she was such a cold-blooded mother. How could she leave her child to die? But she went to the door and knocked. After waiting for a few seconds, there was no movement from the other side of the door. The dog barked and the door opened. Gu Lingqing looked at her condescendingly. I don't know if the next child can save Xiao Yan, so it's best not to give up on finding a suitable match, Wu Yan said. Gu Lingqing understood what she meant. With a cold face he said in a low voice, "Come in." Wu Yan carried the dog into the house. There was a bed, a sofa, a television, a computer, a water dispenser and a treadmill in the house. How did you get here? I don't see any boats outside, Wu Yan asked in confusion. Plain, Gu Lingqing said concisely and sat down on the sofa. He glanced at the opposite sofa and gestured for her to sit. Wu Yan sat down with the dog in her arms. When will you be free? Let's go to the hospital for a checkup and confirm the day of ovulation, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. I'm free at any time. Gu Lingqing looked at her quietly. For me, having a child with you is just to save my son's life. There is no emotional involvement between us. When the child is born, the child will be mine and it has nothing to do with you. Do you agree? Wu Yan nodded. I also believe that the child will be better with you than with me. There was a sharp light in Gu Lingqing's eyes, with hatred and disgust. How much do you need as compensation? Although she knew that he deliberately made her feel bad, which was why he attacked her self-esteem and personality, she really felt bad. I have money. Thank you for your generosity, Mr. Gu, but I don't need it. I don't know what people like you need. Family, friendship, love? You can watch Xing Badian die, you can send Lu Shuang away with your own hands, and you can even cut off your former love. You don't need anything. Are you a monster? Even a monster can't be so cold-blooded, right? Gu Lingqing said sarcastically. Wu Yan raised her chin, looked at him with fear and tried to hold back her tears. She was not afraid of rumors, slander, harm to others and life and death. Gu Lingqing's words, on the other hand, could directly strike her soul. She might really be a monster. From the moment she was born, she was a lonely star. The people around her, the people who loved her, and the people she loved, none of them had a good ending. Mr. Gu is not me. Of course, you don't know what I need and you don't need to know what I need. Wu Yan said coldly. Before I met you, I never regretted anything. After I met you, I regret everything I did, Gu Lingqing said sharply. Do you regret everything? Wu Yan's strong will was broken into pieces by him. She knew that if she stayed any longer, she would only be weak and crying. There was no need to show these things. She lowered her eyes, stood up and said coldly, I will go to the hospital for a checkup today, and I will inform Mr. Gu when the results come out. She couldn't wait to turn around. Her tears flowed uncontrollably and fell on the dog. Perhaps the dog also felt its owner's pain and it barked. Wu Yan rubbed the dog, quickly got on the boat, entered the cabin, put down the dog and operated the computer. Gu Lingqing said that she was a monster. She was a monster. After he met her, there was nothing he didn't regret. That's right. Ever since he met her, nothing seemed to be good. Even if she had tried hard and struggled, in the end, nothing was good. Now her child was also sick. When Xiao Yan was alive, she didn't fulfill her responsibility as a mother. If Xiao Yan died, she wouldn't let him die alone. Maybe, after death, she could take care of her child. Tears streamed down Wu Yan's face as she designed the return route. The screen sounded an alarm, and she realized that because she left in a hurry, the ladder wasn't retracted. She pressed the button, and the ladder automatically retracted. The boat also started to move and began to return. She stood at the window of the cabin and looked at the house. Gu Lingqing didn't come out. He was cold, as if no one lived in the house, as if she was no longer in his heart. Wu Yan cried quietly, looking up at the blue sky. Is a person's fate predestined? Destined to be poor or rich, healthy or sick, happy or sad? If it was destined, why did she have such a fate? She had never taken the initiative to hurt others. Wu Yan felt terrible. She squatted on the ground, her body curled up, and her tears fell on the floor. Woof woof woof. The dog barked at her. Chapter 408. It was already 5 o'clock in the afternoon when she reached the shore. It was too late for her to go to the hospital for a checkup as she was still feeling a little dizzy from the flu. She didn't dare to take her medicine and drank a lot of hot water in preparation for having a child. She lay on the bed for the whole night, feeling dizzy and sweaty. The next day she woke up at 4 o'clock and couldn't sleep. She cooked porridge and played with Hank the dog on the bed. Unknowingly she played for an hour and the porridge was already kept warm. She got up and cooked scrambled eggs with tomatoes. The dog woke up too. She fed it some dog food and squatted in front of the kennel. "Xiao Qing, I'm going out today. Be good at home." "Woof woof." The dog barked. The corners of Wu Nian's lips curled up slightly. She fed him some more dog food and went back for breakfast. After eating, it was only 6 o'clock. She changed into her sportswear. Perhaps it was because she had not recovered from her cold, but her body felt weak. Usually she would run for an hour or two, but she only ran for 40 minutes before getting off the treadmill. She took a hot shower, changed her clothes, and before leaving she gave the dog water and set off. At 10 o'clock in the morning she had already completed the checkup and received the report. Her period wasn't normal and the doctor advised her to take care of her body. Her ovulation period was from October 5th to October 10th. She walked out of the hospital and looked through her phone. She didn't see Gu Lingqing's number. She remembered that she had already blacklisted and deleted his number. Shen Yin should have Gu Lingqing's number and so should Stevens. She didn't want to ask them for it. Gu Lingqing would probably contact her later. She put her phone in her bag and went back to bed. She slept again when she woke up in the middle and wanted to sleep again. She was woken up by the ringing of her phone. She had a terrible headache. She looked at the caller ID and answered, "Hello." "Hello, is this Miss Wu Nian?" the other party asked. Wu Nian found the voice familiar. "What's the matter?" "I'm President Gu's assistant, Zhang Xingyu. We've met before. Do you remember me?" Zhang Xingyu said politely. "Okay." Wu Nian sat up. "Did you forget to contact President Gu? President Gu is very angry right now. Hurry up and contact him. Otherwise we will be in trouble," Zhang Xingyu pleaded. "I don't have his number," Wu Nian said apologetically. "I'll send it to you now," Zhang Xingyu said and hung up before Wu Nian could reject. Gu Lingqing narrowed his eyes and asked Zhang Xingyu, "What did she say?" "She said she doesn't have your number but I'll send it to her now," Zhang Xingyu explained. Gu Lingqing's pupils shrank sharply, cold stars flashing in his eyes. No wonder he couldn't get through to her. Not only had she blocked him, but she had also deleted him. There was a fire in his body rising to the top. When Wu Nian called, his eyes were sinister. He asked, "Where are you?" and not, "What should I say after the checkup?" Wu Nian paused. "According to the report, my ovulation period is from October 5th to October 10th. Shouldn't it be before the 7th and after the 8th? Gu Lingqing's voice was even colder. "My period is not accurate. It's best to go for a checkup every month. Currently it's from October 5th to October 10th, Wu Nian explained. "Got it? Tell me the date and I'll get someone to pick you up." "Wu Nian, what you're doing now is useless, right?" Gu Lingqing looked ahead sharply. "Weren't you an obstetrician? Did you return all the knowledge you learned to the hospital and your teacher? The sperm can stay in your body for a week." She was in a daze and couldn't react in time. "I'm on the cruise at the pier. Remember to take a shower after dinner." "I don't want to waste time," Gu Lingqing said coldly. As soon as she finished speaking, Gu Lingqing hung up the phone. Wu Nian got out of bed and fried some shredded meat with water chestnuts. She heated up the porridge she made in the morning and ate it. After that, she drank a big bowl of water chestnut soup, took a shower and fed the dog. The dog was very happy to see her. It wagged its tail and even spun around. She now knew why so many people like dogs. Other than companionship, she could clearly feel that the dog liked her. She squatted in front of the dog's kennel and fed it a few biscuits. The dog ate 2 biscuits and suddenly barked at the pier. Wu Nian stood up and looked at the pier. Zhang Xingyu was walking towards her car. When he saw her, he had a flattering smile. Wu Nian patted the dog's head. "I'm going out for a while. You stay at home and look after the house." The dog barked. Wu Nian added water for the dog, locked the door and walked towards the pier. "Miss Wu, do you need to bring some clothes?" Zhang Xingyu reminded her. Wu Nian blushed. "No need. I'm coming back today." Oh, that's not what I meant." "Wu Nian, what did he mean?" She got into Zhang Xingyu's car and closed her eyes to rest. After driving for an hour and a half, the car stopped in front of a villa. Zhang Xingyu opened the door of the car and said respectfully, "Miss Wu, we're here." Wu Nian got out of the car and followed Zhang Xingyu in. She did not see Gu Lingqing. President Gu should be working in the study. Go up to the second floor at the second room on the left, Zhang Xingyu said as he stood by the stairs. She remembered that he used to live in a small house with Xiao Yan and Xiao Xian. When did he get this villa? Also, it did not look like it was newly renovated. Could it be that he bought an old house? What did it have to do with her whether Gu Lingqing bought a new house or an old house? She really knew how to worry. Wu Nian went upstairs and stood at the door of the study. She knocked on the door. Come in. Gu Lingqing's voice came from the room. She pushed the door open and entered. He glanced at her, then looked back at the computer screen and said in a low voice, "Sit for a while." Wu Nian nodded respectfully and sat down on the sofa. She hung her head and waited for a while. Gu Lingqing did not call for her. Unknowingly, her eyes were on his face. He was focused on the computer. When he was working, he looked colder than usual. His eyes were sharp and he exuded a strong aura. He was like an arrogant king. Whether it was a soldier or a businessman, Gu Lingqing was able to excel in both fields. She felt proud of him and the corners of her mouth turned up slightly. Gu Lingqing looked at her. Wu Nian was caught red-handed. She lowered her head guiltily. Gu Lingqing's expression softened a little. He closed the computer. Have you taken a shower? Yes. Wu Nian answered. Follow me. Gu Lingqing got up and walked out of the door. She followed him into the room next door. Take a seat first. I'll take a shower. Gu Lingqing said. Okay. Wu Nian answered. Chapter 409. His room was simple as usual. There was a bed, 2 bedside cabinets, a television, a hidden wardrobe and a flower stand by the window. There was a plate of kaffir lilies on the flower stand, elegant and fragrant. Gu Lingqing opened the bathroom door. He walked out with only a towel around his waist and looked at her coldly. Do you want me to help you take off your clothes or do you want to do it yourself? I'll do it myself. Wu Nian lowered her head and took off her coat and undershirt. She was much thinner than before. Was she even 90 kilograms now? If you get any thinner, you'll feel like a skeleton, he said coldly. He held her waist, turned around and pressed her down on the bed, looking down at her from above. Wu Nian looked down and refused to look at him. Gu Lingqing gritted his teeth. How boring. Gu Lingqing sat on the bed. Wu Nian felt a little cold. She wrapped her coat around her body and looked at him in confusion. Gu Lingqing lit a cigarette and leaned against the bed. He exhaled a thick cloud of smoke that landed on Wu Nian's face. She choked and turned her face away. Gu Lingqing moved closer to her and lifted her chin to face him. I have to get hard to want you. How can I feel anything when you're like this? Wu Nian pushed his hand away. Then take the medicine. Will the child be better after taking the medicine be born? Or do you not care if the child is born an idiot? Gu Lingqing said sarcastically. Wu Nian furrowed his brows. Can't you speak properly? Do you feel better every time you say that? Then can you do your job properly? If you don't do your job well, don't expect to be treated well, right? And you've learned psychology, Gu Lingqing retorted coldly. Wu Nian was speechless. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything either. The atmosphere was tense. She looked at him and softened her tone. Aren't we doing this for Xiao Yan? Why else do you think I still want you? However, some reactions can't be forced. You've already given birth, so you should understand, Gu Lingqing retorted. Wu Nian understood his hint and pounced on him. She lowered her head and took the initiative to kiss his lips. Gu Lingqing didn't respond and just looked at her coldly. Wu Nian was a little anxious. She put her hand under his towel. Gu Lingqing held her hand. Wu Nian looked at him and met his deep eyes. He was embarrassed. Did he want to have a child with her, or was he just trying to humiliate her? Gu Lingqing looked at her bright eyes, put out the cigarette in his hand, held her waist, pressed the back of her head and kissed her lips. Wu Nian heaved a sigh of relief. Just like that he wanted it. Because it was too sudden, she clenched her fists in pain and frowned. Gu Lingqing looked at her expressionlessly. There wasn't a hint of lust in his eyes. She didn't dare to face him. Her eyes were on his abdomen. She wasn't sure if it was because of the exercise or because she was sick, but she was sweating profusely. After the session she was so tired that she didn't want to move at all. Gu Lingqing got up coldly and walked to the bathroom. He didn't look at her. Get dressed. I'll get someone to send you back. I'll pick you up tomorrow at the same time. Wu Nian replied, okay. In Zhang Xingyu's car. She looked at the time. It was already midnight. It would take 1.5 hours to get from Gulingqing to her place. She sat in the car and let her imagination run wild. Zhang Xingyu looked at her again and again. He seemed to want to say something but stopped himself. What's wrong? Wu Nian asked suspiciously. I feel that President Gu treats you quite differently. He was so uneasy when he didn't hear from you that he couldn't even do his work. Now that you're willing to come, I can tell that he's in a much better mood. He's calmed down a lot, Zhang Xingyu said with a smile. That's because he's worried about Xiao Yan. Wu Nian explained. She was saying it for herself. Xiao Yan? What? Zhang Xingyu was puzzled. Wu Nian guessed that Zhang Xingyu didn't know the real relationship between her and Gulingqing. She couldn't be bothered to explain. She just smiled and didn't want to say anything else. She looked out of the window. It was very dark outside. Even the places with street lights were not bright enough. It was pitch black. She closed her eyes and pretended to sleep. She accidentally fell asleep. When she woke up, her nose was filled with the smell of disinfectant. She opened her eyes in surprise. Zhang Xingyu was standing by the bed. You're finally awake. Zhang Xingyu smiled. Did I sleep for a long time? Wu Nian wanted to get up. My dear lady, just lie down and rest. You had a fever yesterday. Don't you know it? Zhang Xingyu pressed her down. She guessed that she had a slight fever. That was why she ate a big bowl of water chestnut at night. It had the effect of cooling down. I might have caught a cold from the sea breeze. What time is it now? Where's my bag? Your bag is in the cabinet. Don't worry. President Gu said that you can rest in the ward until you recover. He was there last night and even found 2 caretakers for you. I know that President Gu cares about you a lot. I've never seen him treat any girl so well. But you're also very beautiful. You look beautiful. Zhang Xingyu smiled and scratched his head. Wu Nian looked down. Was Gulingqing there the whole time? Thank him for me. I'll try my best to recover. Wu Nian promised. I don't need to stay in the hospital. I still have a dog to take care of. That's not a good idea. If President Gu knew that you left the hospital without permission, he would be angry. I know what I'm doing. Wu Nian saw that Zhang Xingyu was in a dilemma. She took out her bag from the cabinet and called Gulingqing. Gulingqing hung up on her. Did you call President Gu? President Gu should be in a meeting now. Send him a message. He should be back after the meeting. Zhang Xingyu reminded her. Wu Nian wrote a message to Gulingqing. Before she finished writing the message, Gulingqing called. What's the matter? He asked coldly. Well, I just caught a cold and have a fever. I don't need to stay in the hospital. I can take the medicine home and hang it myself. It's the same. If you knew how to take care of yourself, you wouldn't have fainted from the fever. If it wasn't for Yin, I wouldn't care about you. Just stay in the hospital. I've brought your dog home. Don't worry. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up first. I'm in a meeting. Gulingqing said coldly. After that, he hung up without giving her a chance to speak. Oh my God, President Gu stopped the meeting to call you. I think he's in love with you. He's a workaholic. He's never been like this before. Zhang Xingyu was surprised. Wu Nian didn't bother to explain. Her phone rang again. It was Alan. She didn't answer it directly. Instead, she said to Zhang Xingyu, I'm a little hungry. I'll buy for you. Zhang Xingyu said cleverly. Wu Nian didn't answer until Zhang Xingyu left. Chapter 410. Wu Nian's heart sank. What happened? Just now, someone wanted to kidnap your friend and there was a gunfight. Your friend's mother died trying to save your friend, Alan said. What? Wu Nian's mind was buzzing and her nerves were numb. She couldn't believe it was the truth and she was flustered. She wanted to confirm again. You said that Lu Shuang's mother is dead? I'm sorry, I didn't keep my promise. There were a total of 10 of them and they were all top-notch foreign mercenaries. My men killed 9 of them and the last one committed suicide, Alan said. Wu Nian was silent, and her heart couldn't take it anymore. How could Shuang Niu provoke these mercenaries? How could these mercenaries know where Shuang Niu was? The only explanation was that the news came from Sheniyen. Wu Nian hung up the phone and her eyes were red. She called Sheniyen. Sheniyen didn't pick up. She clenched her fists and continued to call. This time Sheniyen picked up. Did you do it? Wu Nian asked directly. No, I wouldn't hurt her, Sheniyen said. But the news must have come from you. Shuang Niu didn't defend anyone and she almost died because of you. Wu Nian clenched her teeth. I'm investigating it now and I'll give you an explanation, Sheniyen promised. What's the use of giving me an explanation? Will Lu Shuang's mother come back to life? We're all sinners and I shouldn't have told you Lu Shuang's address. If I didn't tell you his mother wouldn't have died. Wu Yan's heart ached as she recalled the loving look of Lu Shuang's mother. Lu Shuang must be very sad now. I'm sorry. Xinyan hung up the phone. Before she could grieve, Alan called and Wu Yan answered. Was it you who told Xinyan my address? Lu Shuang asked. Wu Yan could not deny it. I'm sorry. Why did you do that? Lu Shuang roared. I regard you as my only friend. I stayed by Xinyan's side because of you. Because he said he loves you, Wu Yan explained. He said he loves me? Don't you know whether I love him or not? I wanted to get out of his captivity, didn't you know? Even if you want to tell him my address, you have to discuss it with me first. I told you everything but you didn't tell me anything and even stabbed me in the back. Are you my friend or not? Now that I think about your help, I feel disgusted, Lu Shuang complained while crying. Wu Yan knew that Lu Shuang was very sad now. She couldn't refute her accusation. I'm sorry. What's the use of sorry? My mother died right in front of me. She even took a bullet for me. For you, I once gave up my parents who loved me the most for 2 years. I hurt them all to protect you. But what did you do? You actually secretly told Xinyan my whereabouts. What did you want to do? You wanted to kill me. Baya, why did you become so cold and heartless? Lu Shuang accused hysterically. I'm sorry. Apart from this sentence, all her explanations and self-righteousness were blank. After all, it was her fault. She should not have told Xinyan the address. I'm sorry. I don't want your sorry. I will never forgive you for the rest of my life. I won't let you go either. Lu Shuang roared and hung up the phone. Wu Yan felt as if her heart was being cut by a knife. Blood was flowing out, and her body was so cold as if she had fallen into an ice house. What did she do? Everything she did was wrong. She should have died when she jumped into the sea. That way Shuang Niu wouldn't have lost her freedom because of her. She wouldn't have killed Shuang Niu's mother. She wouldn't have made Gu Lingqing hate her so much. Xiaoyan might even be fine. It was all her fault. Her fault. Wu Yan burst into tears. She turned around and knelt on the bed. She hit the wall with her head 3 times. She couldn't die yet. Xiaoyan was still waiting for her to save him. She couldn't die yet. Wu Yan knelt on the bed weakly. She let the blood flow down her cheeks. She didn't call for the doctor or ask for help. Zhang Xingyu came back with breakfast. Seeing that Wu Yan had fainted on the bed, he immediately called for the doctor and performed emergency treatment. After some time, she opened her eyes and saw Gu Lingqing standing at the head of her bed. When he saw that she had woken up, his eyes flashed with hostility. He held her chin and gritted his teeth. You can die, but don't kill Xiaoyan. When you give birth to a child with matching blood, you can die like this. But before you have a matching child, you don't deserve to die, and I won't let you die. From today onwards you will move back to my villa. Wu Yan looked at his hateful, fierce and disgusted gaze. She pursed her lips and didn't say anything. Her tears flowed quietly. They used to love each other and they would die for each other. How did they become like this? She should be the memory that Gu Lingqing wanted to erase the most. Why was she like this? Why was she like this? Her family, friends and lover all hated her. Even if she died, it wasn't good for others to talk about her behind her back. She was in pain. But who could tell her what she should do? It was as if she was cursed by fate. Every step she took would bring destruction. I'm sorry. Wu Yan said these 3 words in a hoarse voice. Gu Lingqing was stunned, and there was a flash of pain in his eyes. The person you should be sorry to is not me but Xiaoyan. Think about Xiaoyan. He didn't have a mother since the day he was born. Now he has to give up on him. Isn't he too pitiful? I didn't want to give up on him. Then what are you doing now? You killed yourself by hitting the wall. If you found out later, you would have died. Gu Lingqing said angrily. He clenched his fists so tightly that the veins on the back of his hands were bulging. I didn't want to kill myself. I'm just too sad. I killed Lu Shuang's mother. Shuang Niu could have taken her parents away and started a new life. It was me who told her address to Xinyan. Wu Yan explained while crying. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened. His palms were filled with her tears. You can sympathize and feel guilty for Lu Shuang's mother. Why don't you feel sorry for me? Don't you know how much I've done for you and how much I've sacrificed? It's because you've done and sacrificed a lot for me. So, I don't want to hurt you anymore. My existence is just a burden to the people around me. Chapter 411. Gu Lingqing stared at her. So, You pushed me away just because you were afraid of dragging me down? Isn't that so? When I jumped into the sea, I never thought about coming back to life. Lu Shuang sacrificed himself to save me, and then I killed his mother. If I were to be with you, things might change. You might offend Xinyan in order to help me save Lu Shuang, and Xinyan would deal with you. Xinyan is a ruthless and cunning person. You're just a businessman now. Even if you have your father's support, you might not be a rival. You're just a businessman now. And Su Jiran. Su Jiran is a psychopath. If he knew that I am Baya, he might frame you again. It is not because he loves me but because he is not reconciled to it. Wu Nian analyzed and gradually calmed down. She seemed to have said something she shouldn't have said when she was emotional. She should have let Gu Lingqing continue to hate and hate her, instead of saying everything because of the pain. Gu Lingqing's eyes became calm. He reached out and wiped the tears on her face. Baya, you are a doctor. You shouldn't be so superstitious, and you shouldn't have so little confidence in me. If I can't even do this for you, I don't deserve your love. Baya pushed Gu Lingqing's hand away. I'm not superstitious. I am deducing it based on facts. And the result? Did you deduce that Lu Shuang's mother would die? Gu Lingqing asked. At least, Baya paused and continued, you are still safe now. So, because of your self-righteousness, you changed your appearance and even your bone marrow. Gu Lingqing's voice became cold. I changed my bone marrow for emergency treatment. Wu Nian explained. The two of them fell into silence. Gu Lingqing stood straight and looked at her with his deep eyes. Baya lowered his eyes, not daring to look him in the eye. Just like that, half an hour passed. It felt like a century. Baya, what is life to you? Gu Lingqing asked in a low voice. Baya looked up at him and said simply, responsibility. What is your responsibility? Gu Lingqing asked. Baya pursed her lips and said nothing. Do you want me to say it for you? Your responsibility is your mother, Yen, Lu Shuang, and me, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya still did not speak. Your mother is already dead, little Yen is about to die, Lu Shuang was sent away by you, I am also someone you don't want anymore, is it your next step you are going to kill yourself? Gu Lingqing said coldly. I won't commit suicide. Yen won't die. Lu Shuang will be fine. Baya promised. You mentioned Yen and Lu Shuang but you didn't mention me. Baya, are you really going to be so cruel to me? Gu Lingqing's eyes turned red. You will be fine in the future. Baya added. Gu Lingqing sneered. What? Is it because you won't be a burden? You seem to have forgotten what you said on the deserted island. I remember everything in the past. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have almost died on the sea. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have almost died on the deserted island. To me, you being alive is my biggest hope. Living like a zombie? Gu Lingqing raised his voice and interrupted her. His eyes were as red as blood. Do you think I'm willing to live without you? Baya stared at Gu Lingqing. She couldn't control her tears anymore. Gu Lingqing held her hand with great strength. It was as if he wanted to hold on to her for the rest of his life. His gaze was firm and sharp. I'm also very tired. Every day of this kind of life is torture, hatred, disgust. Either we stay together no matter what difficulties we encounter. Even if we die together. Or you, me, Xiaoyan, the three of us don't need to live anymore. Our family will leave this world and go to another world. There's no other world. People can't come back to life after they die, Baya said while crying. Then do you think there's any meaning for me to live? I can't eat well every day. I can't sleep. Even if I close my eyes, my heart hurts like a knife. I want to die immediately to stop this pain. You can find a better one. You also deserve a better one. You can also find a better one. Why don't you find one? Since you've changed your appearance and even your DNA, you can live a new life. Why did you appear in my world? Why did you buy a boat to go back to that deserted island? Why did you risk your life to save me when you were at Stephen's place? Gu Lingqing asked coldly. He asked coldly as his chest heaved up and down unsteadily. Baya pursed her lips. She couldn't answer and turned her face away. Gu Lingqing didn't let her retreat. He turned her face so that she was facing him. I also want to forget you and live a new life, but I can't forget you just because I want to. Every time I think that you might die, I feel very painful. It's been 2 years. It's not 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 months, but 2 years. If you don't appear, I don't know how long I'll be in pain. Or maybe one day when I drink too much, I'll die of gastric bleeding again. There was a fluctuation in Baya's eyes. She heard about him going to the hospital. Later when Xiaoyan came back, he stopped drinking. Baya, either we live together or we die together. You choose. I respect your choice. Gu Lingqing said firmly and let go of her chin and hand. Baya looked down. He didn't give her a multiple-choice question. She only had one choice. How could she bear to let Gu Lingqing and Xiao Yan die? She held Gu Lingqing's arm. You must live well. Otherwise, I won't be able to forgive myself. Gu Lingqing held her hand and sat down by her bed. He looked at her with burning eyes and stroked her tear-stained face with his thumb. Baya, we've experienced life and death, separation and hurt. I only ask for one thing. Don't think about pushing me away again. Otherwise, I may be faster than you think. I may die faster than you think. Baya took a deep breath. She was emotional and hugged Gu Lingqing's waist. I don't want you to die. I want you to live proudly. Promise me you must live well. Then you must promise me that you will never leave me. Even if we die, we will die together. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya cried and didn't answer. Either we live together or we die together. I'm not joking or threatening you. I mean what I say. Think about it carefully. Gu Lingqing said and pushed her away. Chapter 412. Let's talk about it later. Gu Lingqing didn't want to promise her. You've been in a coma for a long time and you haven't eaten anything. You should be hungry. Gu Lingqing's reminder reminded her that she hadn't eaten for a few meals. She hadn't eaten for a day, but she didn't seem to feel hungry. Gu Lingqing turned around and went out. She stared at the white ceiling for a while, wondering how Lu Shuang was doing. She took out her mobile phone and called Alan. How is Lu Shuang now? Baya asked worriedly. She cremated her mother and is not in a good mood. Xinyan's men are around. They are just watching but not doing anything, Alan said in a low voice. Please transfer them to Country D as soon as possible. Xinyan has an enemy in Country D which is the weakest. Relatively speaking, Lu Shuang will be safer there. Moreover, the mastermind has tried to assassinate Lu Shuang twice. This time he didn't succeed and I suspect there will be a third time soon. Baya said in a deep voice. Okay. I'll transfer her tomorrow. Are you okay? I don't think it's your fault. You've prepared for everything. You just want her to be happy. I've told everything to Lu Shuang. If you want to blame someone, you can only blame me for not doing a good job. I'm sorry, Alan apologized sincerely. You've tried your best. In fact, it's my fault. If I didn't have Xinyan, this wouldn't have happened. I just thought that Xinyan loved her, but I didn't consider Lu Shuang's thoughts or discuss it with her. I was self-righteous. You don't have to comfort me. I understand. But you didn't want to shirk the responsibility. Well, after I send her to Country D, I'll tell you her address. Wait for a suitable opportunity. You can tell her in person that your relationship is so good, and she will forgive you. It's precisely because she's good that the damage is magnified. After you send her to Country D, don't tell me her address. I don't know and it's safer for her. Baya said apologetically. That's fine too. You don't have to be too sad. Perhaps this is her fate. I hope she'll be fine in the future. Baya saw Gu Lingqing coming in from the door. I'll hang up first. Thank you. You're welcome. You might be Grandpa Tang's granddaughter. I should help you. Alan hung up the phone. Gu Lingqing put the dishes on the bedside table and asked tentatively, Alan's call? I asked him to take care of Lu Shuang. Baya didn't deny it. Baya, would you rather ask someone else to do something for you than me? Gu Lingqing said coldly. Because I have a selfish motive. Gu Lingqing paused and roughly understood what she meant. She opened the plastic bag and said in a deep voice, I won't allow it in the future. Your man isn't so useless and useless. Baya felt warmth in her heart. She reached out and hugged Gu Lingqing's waist. She leaned her head on his waist. I don't think you're useless and useless. In my heart, you're amazing. I just don't want you to be in any danger. Gu Lingqing looked down at her thin and weak body. Her eyes softened a little. I'm not afraid of danger. I'm just afraid that you won't trust me. On these 2 points we must balance and be on the same page. I won't do it in the future. I'll tell you everything. Baya said softly. Gu Lingqing moved her hand away. I've heard this sentence before. I don't know when you're telling the truth. Baya twitched the corner of her mouth. That's right. There were too many hypocritical words and lies. Even she herself felt that what she said was untrue. She might as well stop talking and look at the plastic bag. What did you buy? You're suffering from a cold and can't eat anything too greasy. I bought you shredded red carrots, tomatoes and eggs and mullet soup. More. You're too skinny now. Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. She shook the headboard of her bed and placed the food on it. Baya smiled at him. He was still sizing her up. His eyes did not move away, afraid that he would not see her again if he did. You were at Avril's birthday banquet? You weighed 60 kilograms? About the same. At that time she had just stopped taking medicine and was still quite fat. I felt that I looked good back then. I'm too skinny now. Really too skinny. Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Baya replied and lowered her head to eat. Gu Lingqing picked up a piece of fish, removed the bones and placed it in her bowl. Tears welled up in Baya's eyes. He had always been nice to her. Even though he said bad things about her before, he was still nice to her now. What did she have to deserve Gu Lingqing's love? She sniffled and held back her tears. She looked at Gu Lingqing. I can't eat so much alone. Let's eat together. Gu Lingqing scooped a bowl of rice quietly. I bought the villa last time. You usually live there. That place is a bit far away. It's not convenient for Yen and Xiao Xian to go to school. Did you renovate the house after the fire? Baya asked. Gu Lingqing glanced at her casually. You don't live with Yen and Xiao Xian. Baya's heart skipped a beat. Gu Lingqing frowned. Take care of yourself first. Take care of the kids later. I will take good care of myself and you. I promise. Baya said anxiously. Yen is abroad and won't be back anytime soon. Are you going to compete with Zhou Hailan to take care of Xiao Xian? Then when will Yen be back? It's pitiful for him to be alone abroad without anyone to accompany him. The medicine in our country is very advanced. She wanted to see Yen. Yen's foster parents have been hired by me. They're taking care of Yen now. He won't feel lonely. They are the people he wants to see and be familiar with the most. Your task is to take care of yourself. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. She felt that Gu Lingqing did not want her to see Yen on purpose. Yen's condition is very serious, right? Baya asked worriedly. Don't worry. He can live for 3 years under normal circumstances. It's enough for you to have 3 children. Baya saw that he was so sure and did not look like he was lying. She lowered her head and ate. Gu Lingqing picked up another piece of fish for her. If you feel bored, you can come and be my assistant. Assistant? I'm not good at it. I've never learned it. Didn't you have a good negotiation with Mo Shui? Besides, I won't ask you to do too much. At most, you will answer the phone in the office, send me messages, organize some meetings, and occasionally accompany me to socialize. I won't ask you to drink. Just bring me home when I'm drunk. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya lowered her head and did not say anything. Chapter 413. I don't think that's a good idea. Baya was not ready yet. Why not? Gu Lingqing asked, staring at her coldly. I think it's better to be an assistant. Marriage is a bit too rushed. Of course you're not in a hurry. You're not even 30 this year and you have a lot of suitors. Su Jiran and a British aristocrat are gone. Maybe another one will appear. Gu Lingqing said in a strange tone. That's not what I mean. If I'm married, I'll feel uncomfortable being an assistant. Why don't I wait until I'm pregnant? First, I have time to prepare. Second, I can do nothing at home when I'm pregnant. Otherwise, I'll just stay at home and have nothing to do. Baya explained. Don't worry. I won't let anyone know that we're married. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and his eyes turned cold. Or do you have other thoughts? You don't want to marry me? No. Baya replied. Give birth to the child. We'll be together for 3 years. 3 years and 2 years. We can get married. That's it. When you're discharged from the hospital, bring the marriage certificate. I can keep our marriage a secret until you want to make it public. Gu Lingqing said domineeringly. She seemed to have no reason to refuse. She had already decided to be with him. If they didn't get married, she wouldn't feel guilty. However, she was still worried. Maybe it was because she had suffered too many losses. Gu Lingqing held her hand. Nothing will happen. I promise. Even if Su Jiran wanted to kill me on the deserted island, I survived. Trust me. Baya nodded. Okay. She lay in the hospital for 6 days. Gu Lingqing let her out of the hospital after the doctor checked her again and confirmed that she was fine. He drove to the villa area. She looked out of the window and glanced at the time. Are you sure I usually live in the villa area? It's a bit far and I'm alone. Who said you're alone? I usually live there too. You get off work at 4:30. There's no traffic at this time. You don't want others to find out, right? It's safer there, Gu Lingqing said while looking ahead. You also live there? What about Xiao Xian? Baya was surprised. She thought that Gu Lingqing usually lived with Xiao Xan and only visited her occasionally. Xiao Xan has his mother to take care of him. I've arranged a nanny, a home tutor and a family doctor for them, Gu Lingqing said coldly. Oh, Baiya replied. Gu Lingqing looked at her. You care about Xiao Xan? Baiya shook her head. First of all, you don't want this child. Secondly, even if you want it, it's your past. I was married in the past. Xiao Xian is your child and you should take care of him. There are many things that are beyond our control, and there is no better solution. Let's maintain the status quo. Gu Lingqing held Baiya's hand tightly. Just don't make me angry in the future. Baiya didn't say anything and let him hold her hand. She looked out of the window leisurely, enjoying the rare moment. After driving for a while, Gu Lingqing stopped at the entrance of a supermarket. What do you want to eat for lunch? I'll make it for you. I'll make it for you. What do you want to eat? Baiya unbuckled her seatbelt. Gu Lingqing smiled. I'll eat whatever you make besides the crayfish. He got out of the car and wanted to open the door for her. She opened the door herself. He locked the door, walked in front and pushed the trolley. Baiya remembered that he liked to eat braised pork with preserved vegetables. She specially bought the best streaky pork, Artemisia selingensis, spinach, cucumber, tomato and eggs. This is the supermarket closest to the villa. You can buy vegetables here every time you pass by, Gu Lingqing said as he pushed the trolley. Okay. They went to pay the bill together. Baiya blushed when she saw that it was a box of birth control products. She took a box. Aren't you going to have a child? Gu Lingqing looked at her. Haven't I been on an anti-inflammatory medication these few days? I can't have a child within a week. I'm still in the ovulation period, Baiya explained. Gu Lingqing looked at her with a strange look in his eyes. He took another box. Baiya. She lowered her head and looked left and right to ease the awkwardness. The waiter paid the bill. Gu Lingqing carried the plastic bag. She walked behind him, deliberately keeping a 1-meter distance. Gu Lingqing stopped and waited for her. Why are you so far away? We're going to be husband and wife soon. What's wrong with buying condoms together? It was indeed not a big deal, but she was embarrassed. She walked to his side awkwardly. Gu Lingqing held her hand and walked until they got into the car and drove back. On the way, Baiya received a call from Alan. She remembered that Alan said that he would only be coming on October 15th. He hadn't arrived yet. She answered the phone in surprise. What's wrong? We've lost contact with Lu Shuang. Baiya's heart tightened and she asked worriedly, What do you mean? Was she kidnapped? Where's her father? No, she disappeared on her own. She should have other friends in Country D who picked her up, Alan explained. Baiya breathed a sigh of relief. She had heard from Lu Shuang that she had friends in Country D, but Lu Shuang disappeared this time on purpose so that she couldn't find him. It seemed that she hadn't forgiven her. It's good that she's safe. Thank you. Baiya thanked him. Her mother just passed away and her mood has been unstable. She'll be fine after some time. After all, you're good friends. She'll be fine, Alan comforted her. Okay. Baiya answered and hung up. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing asked. Lu Shuang has completely disappeared. I might never see him again in this life. I'm a little disappointed, but I know that this is the best outcome, Baiya said sadly. You have me and Xiao Yan. We'll have other children in the future, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baiya looked out of the window. She didn't need many friends. One was enough. One was enough. After a while, Gu Lingqing drove home. Before Baiya entered the door, she heard a bark. She smiled. Her dog was here too. Gu Lingqing opened the door and the dog ran out, wagging its tail. It circled Gu Lingqing and looked at her. It was stunned for a moment, then it barked again and circled around her. Baiya guessed that it recognized her. She squatted down and touched the dog's head. Xiao Qing recognized me, right? Xiao Qing? Gu Lingqing frowned. That's Qing from Sunny Day. It's not Gu Lingqing's Qing, Baiya stood up and explained. I didn't ask which Qing it is, but I don't think this name is suitable for it. Its fur is all white. Let's call it Xiao Bai, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baiya, this stingy man. Then we'll call it Bai Qing. You call it Xiao Bai and I'll call it Xiao Qing. No one loses out, Baiya said. Chapter 4:14. She didn't think of this when she named him. She just thought that the name Xiao Qing sounded very sunny. However, she had always loved him. Baiya raised the corner of her mouth slightly and put her hand gently on his waist. Let's be good in the future. Okay. We'll be fine. I'll cook first. I'll call you when it's ready, said Baya gently. I'll usually be in the study. We'll pick up the marriage certificate in the afternoon, said Gu Lingqing. Baya's eyes sparkled. She still remembered that they were very happy when they got married last time. On the day of the wedding, Zhou Hailan came back, leaving her in so much pain that her illness broke out uncontrollably. Now her mental illness was under control, but she still had some lingering fears. Are you going to let your parents know? It depends on you. If you want them to know, then let them know. If you don't want them to know, I'll never let them know. Even if we have a child, it'll only be our child. Gu Lingqing promised. Baya was very touched and her eyes became misty. Gu Lingqing always put her first. She could feel that he really cared about her. In the past, she didn't want to return to the family because she was afraid of changing the trajectory of others' lives. But now that she was going to be with Gu Lingqing, the identity of an orphan was too far away from him. Even if they were determined to be together, it was not a matter of two people but two families. She needed a respectable identity to make the barrier between the two of them smaller. She just didn't know if Mr. Tang would be her grandfather. She had her bone marrow changed. Under normal circumstances, the DNA in the bone marrow, blood, and immune system would change, but the DNA in other places such as organs and muscles would not change. When the time came, there should be an instrument to extract it. By the way, the DNA in the egg should not have changed. When the time came, they could do a paternity test by using the egg in advance. If it was possible, they could also breed a test tube baby. That way Xiaoyan would have a higher chance of being saved. What are you thinking about? Gu Lingqing saw that she was meditating and asked. Gu Lingqing, I'm thinking that since my fertility rate is low, we can have a few children through test tube. That way Xiaoyan can be saved easily. Baya suggested. Xiao Xian was also born this way. He doesn't seem to have any problems. If everyone had children this way, the world would be in chaos. Baya held Gu Lingqing's hand. We were forced to do this to save Xiaoyan. Besides, we are also using natural methods to conceive. Anyway, it's not like we can't afford to raise a few more children, right? Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. Little Ya, promise me no matter what happens you won't leave me and you're not allowed to be angry. Xiaoyan, Baya said looking at him. Xiaoyan is Xiaoyan. Xiao. Xiaoyan is not sick. Gu Lingqing said. Baya was stunned. She let go of Gu Lingqing's hand and looked at his eyes. He looked a little uncomfortable. If I didn't do that, you would definitely leave me. Maybe you would leave me forever. You lied to me. Baya understood. No wonder he left Xiaoyan abroad and didn't let her see him. She was annoyed and punched Gu Lingqing on the shoulder. Do you know how worried I was? You lied to me and didn't let me take care of Xiaoyan. Gu Lingqing, you went too far. Gu Lingqing clenched her fist and said helplessly, didn't you go too far? You pretended not to see me. Even when we met on the deserted island, you wanted to leave immediately. Are you going to let me have children all the time? Having children is not my goal. But in order to keep you, I am going to keep saying that the children are not suitable for you. Gu Lingqing was honest. Baya pulled her hand out and turned her face away. Gu Lingqing hugged her from behind. I don't know what to do either. You're not willing to be with me, and you have other plans when you face me. You're not even prepared to tell me. Even when I'm angry, insulted, and hurt without restraint, you're determined to leave. Baya, when we were together we were still young. Now we are going to be middle-aged. Life is only a few decades. I don't want to waste time chasing after you. Let's be together. Baya listened to his voice and gradually calmed down. Compared with Gu Lingqing, she had made more mistakes. Only by giving people a chance to turn around could she have a bright future. She was not angry with Gu Lingqing. She turned around and hugged Gu Lingqing, leaning her head on his chest. Can you let Xiaoyan go home? Xiaoyan's illness is fake, but it's true that someone poisoned him. I am worried that I don't have enough time to take care of him, so I sent him abroad and let his adoptive parents take care of him. If you want to see him, I can take you there. But wait for me to arrange it. And it's better not to do so for the time being. In case someone follows us. Poisoned? Is it Zhou Hailan? Baya was worried. Gu Lingqing shook his head. No, my people are watching Zhou Hailan closely. It's not her. Xiao Xian? Baya felt a little creeped out when she thought that such a young child could learn how to poison people. No, I have people watching him and Zhou Hailan. Baya was worried. Then who could it be? I found an old servant on my mother's side, but the old servant had already committed suicide. I checked the old servant's family, and they had all immigrated to country X 3 months ago. I asked my friends over there to check, but they didn't find the old servant's family. I suspect that they might have changed their identities. They disappeared into the crowd. It's more likely that they were killed, Gu Lingqing guessed. Then who could it be? Why would they want to harm Xiao Yan? Xiao Yan is still so young. He doesn't have any enemies. If they want to deal with you, why didn't they target you? Baiya was confused. I don't know. I can't find out. It's just like when Xiao Yan went missing. Then how did you find Xiao Yan? Baiya was surprised. During that period, I drank every day and went to the hospital with gastric bleeding. Someone sent Xiao Yan to me and said that he was my son. I did a paternity test. I also asked Xiao Yan and your mother to do a paternity test to confirm that he was our child. So, those people sent Xiao Yan to you because they were afraid that you would die. Chapter 4:15. Baiya understood. Then we'll take one step at a time. We'll be careful and wait for the enemy to reveal a flaw. Gu Lingqing kissed Baiya's forehead. So, let's let nature take its course regarding the child. We already have Xiao Yan anyway. Baiya nodded. I'll go cook first. She turned and entered the kitchen. Gu Lingqing followed her into the kitchen. I'll help you. Baiya smiled and lowered her head to wash the vegetables. She said softly, the life I missed the most is when we were on the deserted island. We rose at sunrise and rested at sunset. There were surprises every day and we forgot about our troubles. It was like a paradise on earth. When Xiao Yan grows up, I'll give the company to Xiao Yan. We'll go live on the island. I've already bought the island. It's mine now. I've asked scientists to study it. Under normal circumstances, the island won't sink within 100 years. I'll find someone to slowly build a protective belt. Protective belt? What do you mean? It means that the island is divided into two parts. One part is for the wild beasts to grow naturally. The other part is to prevent the wild beasts from coming over so that we can live safely. Snakes, insects, rats and ants can dig holes, right? Baiya smiled. I'll also do some protective work on this part, but there's no rush. I estimate that it'll take at least 2 years to complete it. After it's done, we can also go on vacation. If you're worried, we can stay on your ship for the time being. I'll also install a satellite positioning system there. When the time comes, we can contact the outside world. It won't be in a state where there's no network or signal, Gu Lingqing imagined. Sounds good. I remember a poet called Tao Yuan Ming. He wrote a story called Peach Blossom Spring. It's roughly about him passing through a narrow cave and arriving at a paradise. The people there planted fertile fields and raised chickens and pigs. They were far away from conflicts and didn't know there were Han. No matter if it was Wei or Jin. They were hospitable. You still remember this? Gu Lingqing was curious. He remembered learning this article when he was young, but he had forgotten most of it. I like these charming poems, especially Li Qingzhao, Li Yu and Su Shi. Wu Yan chatted casually. Su Shi? Shui Diao Gedu? This poem isn't bad either, but my favorite is his Jiang Qingzi. 10 years of life and death, never thinking about it, naturally unforgettable. 1,000 miles of lonely grave, no place to speak of desolation. Even if we meet, we should not know each other. Dust-covered face, hair like frost. Baiya simply recited a few sentences. I don't feel well. Gu Lingqing put the washed tomatoes on the plate. I think that Su Shi is also a man of love, to be able to miss his dead wife after 10 years. After all, during his time, men had 3 wives and 4 concubines. Baiya took the tomato and diced it. N. Gu Lingqing answered and helped her wash the eggs. Baiya took the egg from Gu Lingqing's hand. All right, you've been accompanying me for the past few days, so you must have missed a lot of work. Go and do your work. Anyway, you have to do it anyway. I'll cook alone. All right. Gu Lingqing kissed her on the cheek and walked out of the kitchen. The dog came in and surrounded her feet. Woof woof woof. I don't know where to put the dog food. I'll buy you some delicious food when I go out this afternoon. Baiya said softly and patted the dog's head. The dog stretched its neck comfortably and whimpered. Baiya's smile widened. She washed her hands and began to cook. Half an hour later, the aroma of food came from the kitchen. She took the opportunity to cut a honeydew and send it to Gu Lingqing. When she walked to the door of the study, she heard him on the phone. I don't want anyone to know. Just do this first. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baiya felt that it was impolite to eavesdrop at the door. She thought for a moment, knocked on the door and pushed it open. That's all. Gu Lingqing hung up the phone. Did I disturb your work? Baiya said apologetically. No, I have a business meeting tonight. Come with me. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and put the phone on the table. Mem, have some fruit. This honeydew is quite sweet. Baya put the honeydew on the table. Gu Lingqing took a toothpick and ate it. His eyes were still on the computer. Baya saw that there was nothing else for her to do. She turned around and was about to leave. Shaya. Gu Lingqing shouted. Baya looked at him. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing wanted to say something but stopped. His eyes flickered for a moment. I want to ask, when are we eating? About half an hour. Baya stared at Gu Lingqing. She could tell that Gu Lingqing didn't want to talk to her about this matter. However, he didn't want to talk about it. Even if she asked, he wouldn't say it. Then she wouldn't ask. Baya turned around again. Gu Lingqing didn't call her. She walked out of the door and went to the kitchen. Everyone had secrets and things that they couldn't say. Even if the other party was their other half, they still needed their own space. What she could do was not to burden Gu Lingqing. He didn't want to tell her, so he naturally had his reasons. Half an hour later, she finished cooking. The food was delicious. The dog kept following her. She guessed that the dog was hungry. She went upstairs again. Before she knocked on the door, Gu Lingqing opened it. I wanted to call you for dinner. Baya smiled. I heard Xiaobai barking. I think the food is ready. Gu Lingqing came out of the study. Oh yeah, where's Xiaobai's dog food? I think he's starving. Baya called the dog Xiaobai. Gu Lingqing was touched. He hugged her waist and said softly, in the cabinet above the kitchen. Well, I'll feed him later. Do you usually feed him rice? Baya asked suspiciously. Food. Whatever I eat, he eats. No wonder the dog kept following her when she was cooking. It turned out that he was used to eating human food. Then I'll feed him some later. The biscuits can be a snack. Baya walked towards the stairs. Gu Lingqing watched her make 4 dishes: spinach, shredded pork with Artemisia selingensis, tomato and egg soup, and braised pork with preserved vegetables. Gu Lingqing ate 2 bowls of rice. Baya's appetite was also stimulated by him, so she ate a full bowl. In the afternoon, after she washed the dishes and took care of the dog, Gu Lingqing took her to the Civil Affairs Bureau. She had been married 3 times, so she was very familiar with the process. For safety, she used Wen Yan's ID. After getting the certificate, Gu Lingqing took her to take wedding photos. The reason was that the wedding photos were only for collection, and he would only hang them up if she agreed. Baya saw that he had made up his mind, so she didn't say anything more. She went to the most famous photo studio in City A and made an appointment for next week. Gu Lingqing didn't take her back but took her to Gu's. On the way, Gu Lingqing held Baya's hand, looked ahead solemnly and said, I've thought about it and I don't think there should be any secrets between us. There's something I think you should know. Chapter 416. What? Baya waited for Gu Lingqing to speak. Xiaohi has been arrested. She will probably be sent to the military court soon. If there are no accidents, she will be executed, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya's heart skipped a beat. She thought of Xiaohi's delicate face. She thought that she was miserable, but it seemed that compared to Xiaohi she was lucky. Where was she arrested? Baya asked with sympathy in her eyes. She was arrested as soon as she appeared at the airport in a country. The one who arrested her was my former subordinate. He told me before he reported it, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. You think she's a spy? Baya asked as she tugged on her seatbelt. At first I was sure. I thought that only she and I would survive. If it wasn't her, there wouldn't be anyone else. But then Zhou Hailan appeared. There must be a spy between her and Zhou Hailan. But because Zhou Hailan was disfigured, imprisoned, treated inhumanely, and even had a child, she was more convincing than Xiaohi in front of the public. After all, Xiaohi disappeared for no reason and was unharmed, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. So, even if she was wrong, she could only die. Baya's eyes dimmed. Although she had only interacted with Xiaohi a few times, she felt that Xiaohi was a good person. He was tough and tenacious. In fact, after Zhou Hailan appeared, I asked someone to keep an eye on her. She hasn't been abnormal for 2 years. If she's a spy, it doesn't make sense. You also think that Xiaohi is a spy? Baya understood what he meant. To be exact, I don't know. Because I think what you said makes sense. If she's a spy, she shouldn't be so miserable. If she's a spy, there's no need for her to come back. Also, was she arrested as soon as she appeared at the airport? This doesn't make sense unless someone knows her movements like the back of their hand, Baya said suspiciously. Gu Lingqing stopped the car and looked at Baya with a sharp gaze. Baya looked at him, puzzled. What's wrong? If someone knows her movements like the back of his hand, who do you think it would be? Gu Lingqing asked. Su Jiran? No, when Su Jiran went to the island, Xia He had already left. Shinian? No, Lu Shuang wouldn't tell Shinian this. Who could it be? Maybe Xia He met someone after he went out? Baya guessed. Gu Lingqing was silent. He looked ahead as if he was thinking about something. What's wrong? Baya held Gu Lingqing's hand and asked worriedly. Gu Lingqing made a call. Leng Shuang, how did you catch Xia He? There was an anonymous call to me. He said that he could catch Xia He at the airport, so I sent someone there, Leng Shuang said. Can you find out who called you? No, the person's phone number is a virtual account and it's mobile. I suspect that the signal was sent from a car, Leng Shuang said. Cancel the previous decision. Detain Xia He first and report it to the higher-ups, Gu Lingqing ordered again. Baya understood. When he made the call, he ordered, I don't want anyone to know, so you do it first. He probably meant that he didn't want anyone to know that Xia He had been caught and didn't report it to the higher-ups. He also wanted to protect Xia He. Unfortunately, this was a trap set by the enemy. If he didn't let Leng Shuang report it, not only would Leng Shuang die, but he would also die. This trap was very likely to be targeted at him. I'm sorry, Gu Lingqing said to Baya after he hung up the phone. I hope that Xia He is a spy. Otherwise it would be very unjust. Baya pulled a gloomy smile. I still remember that time when I brought them out and watched them die one by one in front of me. If Xia He wasn't a spy, I wouldn't be able to eat or sleep well for the rest of my life when I saw my only remaining brother die in front of me. Reported to the higher-ups, I will save her, Gu Lingqing said. Qing said in a deep voice. Perhaps, this action of yours is also within their expectations. They will say that you and Xia He are together, so you are a spy. In addition to the fact that you were framed previously, I'm afraid you can't even protect yourself. I think we should take our time to think about it. Baya was worried that something might happen to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing was silent. He started the car and didn't say anything, but his brows were tightly knitted. Baya was worried. Can you arrange for me to meet Xia He? Gu Lingqing nodded. I'll ask Leng Shua to arrange it. We should be able to meet before dinner. Gu Lingqing didn't go to the company. After contacting Leng Shua, he asked Baya to go to Ying's secret base after a few anti-tracking techniques. When Xia He saw Baya, he was very excited. He grabbed the metal bars and asked, Why are you here? Yes, why are you back? Baya asked in return. Baya. Xia He looked around, held Baya's palm and wrote in her palm. Other than you, I can't find anyone else I can trust. Baya looked at Xia He with a heavy heart. Sometimes, being trusted was also a kind of burden. I also have a lot of things to ask you. I've told you before that if you want to come back, there must be a complete way. Baya held Xia He's hand and wrote in her palm. I know a secret about that operation. Xia He looked at Baya. Baya also looked at her. Her mind was buzzing as if a bone was suddenly exposed in an airtight egg. It was a creepy feeling. She was very nervous. She pulled out her hand and clenched her fists. The more secrets one knew, the faster one would die. This was always a truth. She was worried that she would fall into a quagmire and be unable to get out. From then on, her life with Gu Lingqing would be in a mess again. Baya. Xia He called her. Baya came back to her senses and stared at Xia He. Perhaps, from the beginning of that operation, Gu Lingqing's life had changed. As his girlfriend, Zhou Hailan, disappeared. Many of his brothers died in that battle. When he went back to carry out the mission, he was drugged. After taking her, someone extracted his sperm and made Zhou Hailan pregnant. This meant that there was a group of people behind the two missions. After she was pregnant, someone took Xiaoyan away. When Gu Lingqing was depressed, someone sent Xiaoyan back. After sending him back, someone wanted to poison Xiaoyan. Not only that, Xia He's matter was obviously a trap for Gu Lingqing. The reason for all this was like a huge mystery shrouding her. She slowly reached out to Xia He. Perhaps, the answer to everything was in the secret of that mission. After she knew the secret, she could find the people behind it. From then on, Gu Lingqing and Xiaoyan would be far away from danger and conspiracy. Xia He held Baya's hand. Chapter 417. Plead for what? Plead for her to save her or for something else? Baya realized that her hands were trembling. Xia He lowered her head and wrote down the secret on her hand. That operation didn't really exist. Baya didn't understand. What does that mean? It was a drill. The operation was fake, but the death was real. Baya still didn't understand what that meant. She looked at Xiaohe suspiciously. Tell Gu Lingqing that he can understand what I mean. So, since the operation was fake, where did the spy come from? Xiaohe continued to write. Baya felt a chill down her spine. How did you know? I needed money, so I accepted some missions. I went to Country S during the mission and got to know a prime minister. I sneaked into their database and found a scandal. The vice president of their country, who was the witness we needed to rescue, had a secret lover in Country X. When we went to carry out the mission, the lover was giving birth. This politician announced that he was coming to Country X, but in fact he went to Country X. He didn't come to Country A at all. If the person we needed to rescue didn't exist, then what was the purpose of the operation? Xiaohe wrote on Baya's hand stroke by stroke. He wrote very slowly, afraid that Baya wouldn't understand. Baya looked at Xiaohe in shock. She wasn't the person involved. She had only heard Gu Lingqing talk about the mission. Now that she thought about it, it was terrifying. She shivered. Xiaohe continued to write, "This is a serious matter. This secret can't be known by others for the time being. I'm afraid it will cause an uproar and affect the relationship between our country and Country S." Baya came back to her senses and wrote on Xiaohe's hand. "You were arrested as soon as you appeared at the airport because someone made an anonymous call and leaked the news. Did you contact anyone to expose your whereabouts?" This time it was Xiaohe's turn to be surprised. She shook her head. "I've always been a loner. Even when I accepted a mission, I didn't tell them my real name. I was even surprised. I had clearly changed my passport. How did I get caught the moment I appeared?" "So, someone has been following you. They should know that you went to S country for a mission." Baya was worried. "They know that I went to S country to carry out a mission, but they won't know that I know this secret. I'm also alone when I do missions. I'm also worried that if they know that I know this secret, I won't be able to live at all. That's why I can't tell anyone. I only trust you. And Gu Lingqing. In addition." Xiaohe's fingers paused for a moment, and a fierce look flashed across his eyes. He glanced at Baya and continued to write, "If I am found to be a spy in the military court and sentenced to death, I will tell this secret. After all, I don't want to die as a spy. I have shamed myself and I will never be able to wash myself clean in this lifetime. I hope that there will be a win-win situation. I also want to know what exactly happened on that mission. I don't want to be wronged for so many years without knowing the truth." "I understand," Baya said in a low voice. "Please," Xiaohe said again. Baya nodded. She turned around and walked out of the room where Xiaohe was locked up. Leng Ning walked in front of her and looked at her suspiciously. "You knew Xiaohe before?" "We met by chance. Sorry to trouble you." Baya didn't want to say more. The current her was the same as Xiaohe. There were very few people who trusted her. "Follow me." Leng Ning led the way in front and handed her over to the soldiers. After taking many detours, she saw Gu Lingqing's car. Gu Lingqing saw her too. He got out of the car and picked her up. Then he drove away immediately. Baya didn't say anything. She was afraid that she would affect his driving. After half an hour, their car was on the normal city road. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything either. He looked ahead deeply. After driving for another half an hour, they stopped in front of a manor. "Gu Lingqing, let's talk first." Baya stopped him. He unbuckled his seatbelt and turned around to face Baya. He said in a low voice, "Say it." "Xiaohe said that the mission you took didn't exist at all." Gu Lingqing frowned. "What mission? What didn't exist?" "You brought your brothers to rescue the political leader. Those people were all dead. Only you, Xiaohe, and Zhou Hailan were left. But, in fact, that political leader was in Country X at that time. He didn't come to Country A at all. So, the person you saved wasn't the vice president of Country S." Gu Lingqing looked at Baya in deep thought. His eyes darkened. "I know it's hard for you to accept it. After all, many of your brothers died in that mission. You can't just listen to Xiaohe's one-sided story. I think you can investigate the truth. Also, Xiaohe said that if she was sentenced to death, she would tell everyone. A week after I brought the political leader back, the vice president, who was a commissioner in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at that time, personally thanked me on TV. That's because his lover was giving birth in Country X at that time. He used this incident to cover up his scandal. These were all insider information that Xiaohe got by chance. Could it be that the person you saved looked exactly like the vice president?" Baya was suspicious. "When I saved him, his face was covered in blood. I couldn't see his face clearly. Plus, it was too urgent at that time, so I didn't see him clearly." Gu Lingqing recalled. "Who did you hand him over to? Who asked you to carry out this mission?" Gu Lingqing looked at Bai Ye deeply. My direct superior at that time was Kai Qingyun, General Kai. But he's dead now. Maybe he was also following other people's orders? Who do you think could order him? There weren't many people in his position who could order him. The president, the two vice presidents, and the committee. Gu Lingqing pondered. If it was a fake mission, why did all my brothers die? Bai Ye didn't say anything. She didn't know Gu Lingqing at that time, so she didn't know. If that mission was fake, that means there was no spy at all. Xiaohe should have been wronged. However, if this matter is exposed, it may affect the relationship between Country A and Country S. Bai Ye suggested. I'll first send someone to Country S to confirm the truth of this matter, then we'll make a long-term plan. Bai Ye lowered her eyes. Hopefully they had enough time. They entered the private room together. Bai Ye saw that there were 8 people in the private room, but she didn't know any of them. President Gu, please sit down. They deliberately left the main seat empty. Gu Lingqing sat down on the main seat. There was no seat next to him, so Bai Ye found an empty seat and sat down. She had just sat down when she saw Su Jiran walking in with a glass of wine. Chapter 4:18. Hearing Su Jiran's tone, Bai Ye subconsciously felt uncomfortable. She curled her lips and said, My presence here has nothing to do with you, Mr. Su, right? Su Jiran realized that he was in the wrong position. I'm just curious. Miss Wu doesn't seem like someone who likes to mingle in such places. You don't know me. How do you know that I don't like it? Bai Ye retorted. The atmosphere between the two of them was filled with the feeling of mutual hostility. Mr. Su, do you know each other? Someone asked. Su Jiran shrugged and said, Sort of. He looked at Gu Lingqing and said, I heard that you're here, so I came to propose a toast. Mr. Gu, you must have a lot of troubles recently, right? What does it have to do with you? Gu Lingqing said coldly. Of course it has something to do with me. We've known each other for so long. I hope that you can live longer. Without your company, my life will be so boring. Su Jiran took the initiative to touch Gu Lingqing's wine glass. You're thinking too much. I'll definitely live longer than you. People who meddle in other people's business usually don't live long, Gu Lingqing said meaningfully. Su Jiran smiled with a hint of schadenfreude. He raised his head and downed the wine in his cup in one gulp. Then he glanced sideways at Wu Nian and said, You're with Gu Lingqing? Bai Ye's heart trembled. She stared at Su Jiran and pursed her lips without saying a word. She's my assistant now. Gu Lingqing helped Bai Ye out of the situation. Assistant? Su Jiran's face turned pale. He looked at Bai Ye unhappily and said, When I invited you to be my assistant, you said that you only knew how to teach. What are you doing now? Miss Wu is really two-faced. She doesn't speak a word of truth. The moon waxes and wanes and people have their ups and downs. Everything in the world is impermanent. If you want to be specific, Mr. Su is not as charming as President Gu in my eyes. Are you satisfied with this reply? Bai Ye retorted coldly. Su Jiran's expression became even worse. Then, he threw the wine glass into the bin and looked at Bai Ye with a warning look. You will regret this decision very soon. Bai Ye watched as Su Jiran walked out, and his expression darkened. How did the saying go again? It was better to offend a gentleman than a villain. Su Jiran was still a cultured villain wrapped in a gorgeous appearance. She was really afraid of Su Jiran. He was capable of anything. The socializing continued. The others didn't seem to be affected by Su Jiran's sudden appearance, but Bai Ye was restless. Xiaonian, help me get the lighter from the car, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Bai Ye was stunned. She didn't like Gu Lingqing smoking, but there were so many people here, so she couldn't disrespect him. She stood up and walked out. Before she reached the elevator, Gu Lingqing held her hand and pulled her to the balcony on the 2nd floor. Don't worry about what Su Jiran said, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Bai Ye understood. He didn't ask her to get the lighter, but he called her out. He probably saw that she wasn't in a good mood, so he came to comfort her. In her heart she was very touched. After going through so much, I know him too well. It's impossible to say that I don't care. I'm thinking about what he said about regretting this decision soon. Does Su Jiran know something? Even if he knows something, it has nothing to do with me. Firstly, he won't tell me. Secondly, he will hit me when I'm down. Thirdly, Gu Lingqing paused. I didn't deal with him before because I wanted him to taste the pain of your death like I did. Since you're still alive, I'm not going to let him go. Bai Ye was nervous. She held Gu Lingqing's hand. Don't make me regret my decision to be with you. I hope that you'll be safe. If you're safe, I can let go of all my hatred. Gu Lingqing held her hand back. After knowing the secret that Xiaohe told me, I realized that you're not dragging me down, but I'm dragging you down. Even without you, some things will still happen. So, no matter what happens, don't blame yourself. In my eyes, Su Jiran is insignificant and insignificant. Bai Ye knew that Gu Lingqing was comforting her. She could tell which things he was dragging her down, and which things she was dragging him down. Anyway, we'll be fine in the future. Bai Ye said in a deep voice. It'll be fine. Don't worry. I saw that you didn't eat anything before. Go back and eat something. I'll bring you home later. Gu Lingqing said softly. He held her hand and walked back. Bai Ye subconsciously pulled her hand out. Gu Lingqing turned back to look at her. Gu Lingqing, I love you. I love you more than you think. We still have a lot of things to solve. It's better to have one less thing to do. You're not a superhuman, Bai Ye said worriedly. Got it. Gu Lingqing did not make things difficult for her. She walked towards the private room first. Bai Ye walked towards the direction of the washroom. She splashed water on her face. She looked up and saw Su Jiran in the mirror. She was shocked and her face turned pale instantly. Su Jiran crossed his arms and leaned against the door. He looked at her coldly. Does Alan know that you're Gu Lingqing's assistant? I don't need to report my work. Besides, Alan will come to a land on the 15th. I don't need to tell him. You will know. Bai Ye forced herself to calm down. She deliberately told Su Jiran the date when Alan would come back to China to mislead Su Jiran. You're not majoring in finance, business, or secretarial. Don't you think it's strange that Gu Lingqing specially arranged for you to be his assistant? Su Jiran asked in return. Others have their reasons for arranging it. I have my reasons for accepting it. I only need to think about myself. Why should I think about others? Bai Ye walked out. Su Jiran took a big step to the right and blocked her way. He looked down at her. I'm curious. What's your reason? Bai Ye curled her lips. I want to know why you care so much about me. Don't tell me that you really love me. I think the reason why I care about you is the same as the reason why I care about Gu Lingqing. You really look like the woman we love together. Su Jiran examined Bai Ye's face. Bai Ye raised her chin and looked at Su Jiran. I'm done. Can you let me go now? Su Jiran did not let her go. Instead, he held her arm. Follow me. What do you want? No matter what you want, I can accept it. I don't lack money. I don't have any relatives. Even my only friend has left me. In other words, I don't have anything I want now. If I do. Bai Ye paused. Mr. Su, you have power and good looks. Even Mo Shui likes you. You should not lack women. In the future, stay away from me. Chapter 419. Bai Ye curled her lips. What if the woman you love comes back? Su Jiran paused and looked at Bai Ye suspiciously. He let go of his hand and his eyes dimmed. Bai Ye probably won't come back. I think Gu Lingqing thinks the same, so he asked you to be his assistant. Bai Ye caught the strange look in his eyes. Su Jiran, do you want to make a deal? What kind of deal? Su Jiran's hope was ignited. What did you mean when you said that I'll regret it soon? Bai Ye continued to ask. Su Jiran looked at her faintly. Gu Lingqing is doomed. If you follow him, of course you'll regret it soon. Gu Lingqing will not be able to escape. What does this mean? Wunyan, don't tell me that you're really worried about Gu Lingqing. Don't tell me you're interested in him. Su Jiran squinted his eyes in suspicion. If you're referring to Xiaohe, I think you're thinking too much. Gu Lingqing won't save Xiaohe. Bai Ye made it clear. Su Jiran was slightly shocked. How do you know about Xiaohe? I know more than you think. For example, that mission is a fake mission, Bai Ye said, scrutinizing Su Jiran. Su Jiran was even more shocked. How do you know? Who are you? I think I should be the one asking you, not the other way around. Who are you? Who are you working for? Wu Nian asked suspiciously. Su Jiran hugged Bai Ye's waist. If you want to know who I'm working for, come to my side. I'll tell you everything. Let go, Bai Ye ordered. So, you stayed by Gu Lingqing's side because of someone's order? Was it Shen Yan's order? Su Jiran asked. Bai Ye stared at Su Jiran. He was very smart. Even though he was stunned for a moment, he quickly regained his composure. He would not let her get information out of him easily. If she continued to be entangled with him and panicked, she would expose even more. The more you know, the sooner you die. Bai Ye stepped on Su Jiran's foot forcefully. Su Jiran felt the pain and loosened his grip. Baya didn't even look at him and walked towards the private room. I advise you not to follow in Zhou Heilan's footsteps. You've seen what happened to her. She's basically abandoned, Su Jiran said from behind her. Baya stopped in her tracks. She really regretted not turning on the recording. Otherwise her words might have been useful. She glanced at Su Jiran. You'd better worry about yourself. Su Jiran smiled devilishly. Seems like you don't know much. Your level is very low. Baya turned her face away and walked towards the private room. Along the way she kept recalling the conversation she had with Su Jiran. Although he was cautious, she still heard some of it. She pushed open the door of the private room. Gu Lingqing was frowning. When he saw her, he relaxed and said in a low voice, "Does it take so long to get something?" "I didn't see a lighter in your car, so I looked for it for a while," Baya said and sat down. "President Gu, don't be angry. I have a lighter here." Director Wu took the opportunity to suck up to him. He took out a lighter and lit it up. Gu Lingqing lit a cigarette and looked at Baya. Baya met his gaze. He gestured to the dishes on the table. She lowered her head and ate. "This is Xiao Wu, right?" "Here's to you," a strange man said to Baya. Baya raised her glass. "She needs to drive for me." "She can't drink," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. "Oh yes. We abide by the law. We don't drink when we drive and we don't drive when we drink," Director Wu said quickly. She looked at Gu Lingqing and said with a smile, "President Gu, when are you free? I'll make arrangements for that location." "Thank you," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice and looked at Baya. Baya met his eyes again. She put down her glass, lowered her head and continued to eat. Gu Lingqing slightly raised the corners of his mouth, and his heart was filled with warmth. Half an hour later she couldn't eat any more. Gu Lingqing said to Director Wu, "I have a child at home. I'll go back first. Zhang will make arrangements for you. Have fun." "Thank you, President Gu," Director Wu said with a flattering smile. "You're welcome." He stood up. Baya stood up as well. He went out. Baya picked up her bag and followed him out. "Be smart next time. You're going out to eat with me, not to drink with me. Every time you say you're going to drive me away, understand?" Gu Lingqing said. "Oh, I forgot," Baya explained. Gu Lingqing pressed the button for the elevator. "Why did you take so long to return to the room? If you came back 1 minute later, I would have gone to look for you." "I bumped into Su Jiran in the washroom." Baya didn't hide it. Gu Lingqing's eyes turned cold. "Stay away from him if you see him next time." "I talked to him for a while." Gu Lingqing turned around and looked at Baya warily. "Talk? What's there to talk about? You've suffered a lot from him, haven't you?" Baya saw that the elevator had arrived. "I'll talk to you when we get in the car." Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. He entered the elevator and looked at Baya. "You can talk now." Baya put on her seatbelt and looked at Gu Lingqing. "I found out a few things about him. First, when I said that the mission was fake, he said, 'How do you know? Who are you?' This means that Su Jiran knows that the mission was fake. I remember that Su Jiran is the president's man. This means that the president knows that the mission was fake. Second, he thought that I was ordered by Xinyan to stay by your side. He said that I shouldn't follow in Zhou Heilan's footsteps. This means that Zhou Heilan was ordered by someone to stay by your side. Xinyan is very cunning. Maybe he deliberately said something to confuse you," Gu Lingqing said cautiously. "I don't think so. Also, let's say that the president knew that the mission was fake. Could it be that the former president asked someone to catch Xiaohe?" Baya guessed. "Impossible. If the mission was arranged by Xinyan's father, he would have killed Xiaohe after knowing his whereabouts. He wouldn't have asked my people to catch him. So, the person who asked Leng Shuang to catch him can't be the one who planned the fake mission. Moreover, we still don't know which faction Su Jiran belongs to," Gu Lingqing said solemnly. "If Zhou Heilan was ordered by someone to stay by your side, she should know that it was a fake mission. Through her, we can find out who planned the fake mission. What's the purpose of the fake mission? The mission is fake but the death is real. What's the purpose of the death? Is it for you or for someone else?" Baya had many questions in his mind. Chapter 420. "You don't have to do anything about this. I'll handle it," Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya felt a little uncomfortable. She knew that Gu Lingqing was worried that she would be in danger, so he didn't want her to participate. However, she wasn't afraid of danger or death. She was just afraid that something would happen to him. At the thought of something happening to him, her eyes turned red. Gu Lingqing, if something happens to you, I won't live alone. Let's face it together. The difference is, if they want to deal with me with my skill and ability, I am not someone that an ordinary person can deal with. However, if they want to deal with you, you will be powerless and will be easily dealt with, Gu Lingqing said solemnly. Indeed, she didn't have any ability. She couldn't help him even if she wanted to. I really don't understand. Why do you like me? I don't have a good temper and I'm incompetent. I have a bad personality and I'm in a mess. Baya lowered her head and pulled her seatbelt to vent the faint displeasure in her heart. Gu Lingqing held her hand, and the corners of his mouth turned up slightly. You don't need a reason to like someone. Maybe it's just a moment of affection. I only know that you make me miss you, and I can't see any other woman in my eyes anymore. You also make my heart ache and it will make me jealous and crazy. Although I don't know the reason, I know that this is love. It was rare for Gu Lingqing to say sweet words. Most of the time he was a man of few words. But every time he said it, it made her feel incomparably sweet. Although I'm unarmed, I know that as long as you're here, nothing will happen to me. Didn't something happen to you on the deserted island? That's because you weren't there. So I can't protect you all the time. Gu Lingqing seemed to know what she was going to say and blocked her words. Baya twitched the corner of her mouth. I don't want to be a woman who causes trouble everywhere and only needs your protection. I want to fight side by side with you. There's a place for you to fight side by side. Do you know who Director Wu is? Gu Lingqing asked. Baya shook her head. How would I know? I'm not a businessman. He's the owner of Xingchuan City's Land Planning Bureau. The person with him is the director of the investment promotion agency, Gu Lingqing explained. Xingchuan City is surrounded by mountains. It's the poorest province in country A. Do they want you to develop your career there? Baya guessed. Yes, they want me to develop my career in Xingchuan City, but my goal is the treasure. Isn't the treasure in the gold source? Baya was surprised. No, I looked for a lot of information, consulted experts and combined it with the unfinished diary. I found the correct address. It's not in Jinyuan but in Xingchuan City. We have to do T have to say, we have, Gu T to say, T to. Yeah, by, we. Shan, I'm. We have to do with it. T, Gu. By. We lon, to of it ya, do we, T. By, even if you find the treasure you don't know who the boss is. You will get yourself into more trouble. Gu Lingqing, you have enough trouble. Xiaohe's problem is not solved yet. Baya disagreed. I can only negotiate with the boss after I get the treasure. To deal with the boss we need to know who he is. Otherwise we won't have any direction. I admit that you're right. I'm not asking you not to do this. I just feel that our priority now is to find out the truth behind your mission. We need to find out who the mastermind is. Then we can deal with the treasure. What do you think? Baya asked. She felt that Gu Lingqing wouldn't be able to handle so many things at the same time, even if he was a god. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya in silence. Baya didn't say a word. She just looked at her quietly. All right, I won't touch the treasure for the time being. It's too late. Let's go home first, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya knew that it wasn't easy to get Gu Lingqing to compromise. He was willing to compromise because he indulged her. She drove back. On the way she looked at Gu Lingqing. He closed his eyes and pretended to sleep. The lights from the street lamps flickered on his face, just like her mood at that moment. She had to think about it carefully and analyze all the accidents and possibilities. She couldn't take another wrong step. After an hour and a half they arrived at the villa. Baya stopped the car. Gu Lingqing opened his eyes and looked at her. Xiaoye, you once told me that if you died I would live well and take your place to complete your unfinished dream, right? Yes. She did say that. Gu Lingqing's reply at that time was to talk about it in the future. I promise you, but I also need you to promise me something, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. He was very serious. Baya had a bad feeling in her heart. Gu Lingqing continued, if I die one day, I hope that you can live well and take my place. We still have Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan needs you to take care of him. He will have children in the future. Xiaoyan's children also need you to take care of them. Do you understand? Baya's eyes turned red instantly. She couldn't hold back her tears and they rolled down her cheeks in big drops. Gu Lingqing was a very confident person. In the past, when he encountered problems he would always say, trust me, I can solve it. This time he felt like he was leaving something behind. This meant that he also judged that he might not be able to solve it. Baya couldn't help but feel sad. I won't promise you. If you die, I will accompany you. We still have Xiao Yin, Gu Lingqing said. Xiao Yin has his adoptive parents, Baiya said willfully. Her tears fell even more fiercely. Gu Lingqing reached out to wipe her tears. Baiya pushed his hand away and turned her face away. She wiped her tears by herself, opened the door and got out of the car. Gu Lingqing had no choice but to get out of the car. Baiya walked to the door. With her back facing Gu Lingqing, she said, "If you die, they will deal with your son. Do you think I have the ability to protect Xiao Yin?" "No, I don't. The only one who has the ability is you." Gu Lingqing walked behind her. He reached out and hugged Baiya. He buried his head in her neck and took a deep breath. Baiya felt that his body temperature was pouring into her body bit by bit. However, she still felt very cold. She turned around and faced Gu Lingqing. "Xiaoya, promise me, okay? If something happens to me, I will send you and your son out safely. No one will find you." Gu Lingqing looked at her solemnly. Chapter 421. When she lost her lover, it was as if the sky had lost all color and all she could see was black and white. Even though there were many people around, she still felt lonely. Even on a hot summer day, she would still feel cold. When she was eating, she would think of the details of their meals. He liked to eat braised pork with preserved vegetables. He would remove the fish bones and give the meat to her. When she was sleeping, she would think of him lying beside her. He would use his arm as a pillow for her. When she was walking, she would think of him beside her. He would let her walk inside and hold her hand when she was crossing the road. When she was watching television, she would think of him sitting beside her. He didn't watch soap operas, but he wouldn't fight with her over the TV. He would look at his phone. When she was cold, he would drape her clothes over her and hold her hand. When she was tired, he would let her lean on his body or carry her to the bed. Every time she thought of this, she would think of the fact that he would never appear again. Her heart ached as if it was being cut by a knife. She wished that she could die immediately. She hoped even more that there was a heaven in this world. She would be able to see him in heaven after she died. She couldn't live without Gu Lingqing. Hence, she would rather look at him from afar than be a burden to him. Gu Lingqing looked at her crying and his heart ached. He wiped her tears with his thumb. "Let's talk about this in the future. Anyway, we are still fine now." Baiya didn't say anything. She lowered her eyes and was as calm as still water. Gu Lingqing opened the door and held her hand as they entered. She heard the dog barking. It was really pitiful to be their dog. They didn't have a proper meal. Baiya took the dog food to feed the dog. She even changed the dog's water. Looking at the dog happily eating and drinking, she was in a daze. Most dogs were happy because they thought less and wanted less. They didn't experience too many setbacks and were easily satisfied. As long as they had food and water, they would feel happy. Humans weren't like that. They had feelings but were also burdened by them. The more they wanted, the more complicated their thoughts were, and the harder it was to find happiness. Gu Lingqing handed a bottle of milk to her. "Drink it. It will strengthen your body. Drink a bottle every day from now on." Baiya took the bottle from Gu Lingqing's hand and stood up. Her eyes were still red and she drank all the milk in the bottle. "Come with me to work tomorrow. I'll ask the HR department to give you a labor contract." Gu Lingqing took the bottle from Baiya's hand and walked to the kitchen to wash it. Baiya looked at his back and narrowed his eyes, which shot out a ray of light. She would never allow him to die. She would carry the burden of what he had carried. She was dead, and he promised her to live on and take good care of Xiao Yan. If he died, she would not be able to live. When Gu Lingqing came out of the kitchen, Baiya had already taken a shower in the bathroom. She was standing under the faucet with her eyes closed. She was immersed in her thoughts. When he heard the bathroom door open, he opened his eyes. Gu Lingqing walked in with a bathrobe. He took off his clothes and stood in front of Baiya. She stood on tiptoe and kissed his chin. Gu Lingqing also held her waist. Their lips touched and an electric current flowed into their blood. Gu Lingqing hugged her and lay in the bathtub. As they kissed, the temperature increased. He held her calf and placed it on his waist. They looked at each other and saw deep love and misty pity in each other's eyes. Baiya's heart ached. She took the initiative to close the distance between the two of them. Gu Lingqing lowered his head and kissed her eyes, the bridge of her nose, her lips, and her collarbone. The waves hit the bathtub, creating beautiful splashes and landing on the ground. Again and again life surged forth. She hugged him tightly. When he couldn't see, she shed tears. She lowered her head and bit Gu Lingqing's shoulder. She could really feel his existence. 15 minutes later, it gradually subsided. The bathroom was so quiet that they could hear the sound of breathing. Gu Lingqing gazed at her. Just like how she gazed at him, they looked at each other without saying a word. Gu Lingqing was the first to smile. He pinched her nose and stood up. Baya also stood up and hugged him from behind. Gu Lingqing, I don't want to go to work tomorrow. I want to go to the temple. The temple? Gu Lingqing looked at her in surprise. When did you believe in this? From today onwards, I want to believe in it, Baya said meaningfully. Okay, I'll go with you tomorrow. He took the bathrobe and wrapped it around her. Be careful not to catch a cold. Baya wrapped the bathrobe around her and went out. She changed into her pajamas and lay on the bed. She looked at the time. It was almost 12 o'clock. She closed her eyes. Not long after, Gu Lingqing brushed his teeth and came in. He lay beside her and looked at her peaceful face. Baya waited for a while, but he did not turn off the lights. She opened her eyes and saw that he was looking at her. Aren't you going to sleep? It's very late. Gu Lingqing touched her nose. Your forehead, nose, and ears have not been fixed, right? Yeah, I fixed my eyes, patted my chin, changed the shape of my face, lips, and eyebrows. I used to have a tough life, Baya said. Gu Lingqing was amused by her. Why didn't I notice that I had a tough life? Baya also felt that what she said was quite funny. Go to sleep. Gu Lingqing nodded and turned off the lights. Baya turned over and faced her back to Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing also turned over and hugged her waist, pulling her to his side. Baya was dizzy. She was really a little sleepy and fell asleep after a while. She had a dream. She dreamt that Gu Lingqing said that he wanted to go to Inner Mongolia and forcefully pulled her onto a bus. There were not many people on the bus. The driver was playing with the picio in his hand and told her that he wanted 12,000 and asked her to take a look. She took a look. It looked weird and she did not know what material it was made of. They arrived at a certain city area. She saw a tall building not far away. It was as though there were electric waves and magnetic fields. In an instant it exploded. She shouted, Gu Lingqing, run! Gu Lingqing pulled her and ran. She hugged her head and saw many stones falling in front of her. She was afraid that they would hit her head. When she looked at Gu Lingqing was gone and she was alone. Her heart tightened. She found a roof with its back facing the exploded building and squatted on the ground. She looked at the stones and corpses in front of her in a panic. It was raining heavily. She was worried that something had happened to Gu Lingqing. She ran out from under the roof and looked for Gu Lingqing everywhere. She could not find him and met Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang said that Gu Lingqing was already dead. He was hit by a huge stone. She cried in her dream. Xiaoya, Xiaoya. Gu Lingqing pushed her. Baya opened her eyes and saw Gu Lingqing. She was glad that it was just a dream. However, she could not stop feeling sad. Chapter 422. Baya smiled awkwardly and wiped away her tears, but her eyes were still wet. She pretended to be calm and said, I had a nightmare, I'm sorry. You dreamed that I was dead. Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing in surprise. You kept shouting Gu Lingqing, don't die. Gu Lingqing explained. Baya sat up and thought of the dream. Her heart still ached a little. She brushed the hair in front of her forehead and squinted at Gu Lingqing. I dreamed that you were killed by a stone and I also dreamed of Lu Shuang. Dreams are all the opposite. It just proves that I won't die. It's still early. Do you want to sleep for a while? Gu Lingqing also sat up and looked at the time. It was only 5:45. Baya shook her head. I used to wake up at this time. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to cook breakfast and run in the morning. That's a good habit. I'll keep you company. Gu Lingqing also got up. Baya brushed her teeth and washed her face first. She put the rice in the rice cooker to cook porridge and went out for a run. Gu Lingqing quickly caught up. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. Is it a race? Baya asked. Gu Lingqing chuckled. You're brave enough to challenge me. No one in the army can run faster than me. Baya ran backward and looked at him. Mr. Gu, run backward. I'll run along. We'll go around the park and the finishing point will be the starting point. Gu Lingqing smiled and agreed readily. Okay. Baya sprinted forward and Gu Lingqing followed beside her. Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. She didn't expect him to run so fast even though he was running backward. It seemed that he was waiting for her on purpose. She sped up and Gu Lingqing still followed beside her. She ran for 100 meters and couldn't run anymore. She gradually slowed down. Gu Lingqing played along. He also slowed down and stayed by her side. Her heart was filled with warmth as she looked at him with a smile. It's easier to conserve energy by running at a constant speed. You should sprint at the end, Gu Lingqing suggested. I admit defeat, okay? Ignorance is bliss. Come and run, let's run together, Baiya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing turned around. He originally wanted Baiya to win, but she should have seen that he deliberately let her win. Between lovers there was no need to care about winning or losing. Her smile was his greatest trophy. The two of them ran 10 laps around the park before Baiya stopped to rest. Panting slightly, she wiped the sweat off her body and turned to look at Gu Lingqing. He stood under the tree and looked at her deeply, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. I know an ancient temple that has more than 300 years of history. I heard that it's very accurate. I want to go there, but it's a little far. Will it affect your work? Baiya said worriedly. No, I'll get someone to drive the limousine over. When you're in the limousine you can still rest for a while. I can also work so it won't affect me. Baiya nodded. Sounds good. Let's go and have breakfast first. I've cooked porridge. Scramble a tomato and egg later. In the car Baiya lied on the bed and pretended to take a nap. Gu Lingqing was focused on the computer. Slowly Baiya opened her eyes and looked at Gu Lingqing. The sunlight outside the window fell on him, casting his shadow on the blanket. Even his shadow was so tall and straight. Time was quiet. She slightly raised the corners of her mouth and her eyes were gentle. Gu Lingqing seemed to feel her gaze and looked at her. Their eyes met. Did I wake you up? Gu Lingqing closed the computer. Baiya shook her head. No, just looking at you makes me feel very satisfied. Gu Lingqing slightly raised the corners of her mouth. She laid down beside Baiya and put her hand on her waist naturally. That sounds nice. What were you doing when I asked you to be with me? Actually, I've always been there. I've never left. I was there before, I'm here now. No matter what happens in the future, I'll still be there. After knowing you, I can't find anyone better than you, Baiya confessed. Gu Lingqing's smile deepened. Since when did you become so sweet? This isn't like you. It wasn't like her, but she was worried that if she didn't say it now, she wouldn't have the chance to say it in the future. I've always been very unlucky. But you're the luckiest thing in my misfortune. You're also the only bright color in my life. I feel that God is still treating me well after knowing you, Baiya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing looked at her with a burning gaze. I've always been fighting against my fate. Thank you for appearing and making my life different. Baiya slightly furrowed her brows. It doesn't sound good. Gu Lingqing laughed out loud. That's why it's destined. Don't ask me why I like you anymore. Baiya shrugged. Then I'll rest for a while. You're busy? She turned her body and turned her back to Gu Lingqing. There was a flash of determination in her eyes. Now, other than Su Jiran, there was also Zhou Hailan. Ever since they knew each other, Gu Lingqing had always been the one protecting her. Now it was her turn to protect him. Before they knew it, they had already arrived at the ancient temple. There were many people in the ancient temple. There were many people lining up to see the master. Baiya was the last one in line. Gu Lingqing stood beside her. What's going on? There's an ancient master here. He only tells 3 people every day. Those who are told by him are very accurate. They can also turn misfortune into blessing, Baiya explained. There are about 40 to 50 people here. You'll have to line up for half a month. I'll call someone to line up later. We'll come again when it's our turn, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baiya pursed her lips and smiled. Before she could say anything, an auntie standing in front of them said, Young man, I can tell that you don't understand. The ancient master only tells 3 people every day, but not everyone. It depends on fate. We're just trying our luck. So, even if it's our turn, he might not tell us. Gu Lingqing asked Baiya. Baiya nodded. If he doesn't tell us, it's not too late to burn incense and pray for blessings. Gu Lingqing did not say anything. He did not believe in this, but as long as Baiya believed in it, he would accompany her. Even if he did not say anything, he felt that it was meaningful to be by her side. The line in front was moving very fast. It should be the ancient master who did not tell anyone. Soon it was Baiya's turn. Baiya went in first. Gu Lingqing followed. He was stopped by a young novice monk. Almsgiver, the ancient master only tells 1 person at a time. Even if you're together, you can only tell 1 person at a time. Baiya looked back at Gu Lingqing and smiled. I'll be done in a while. Gu Lingqing nodded. He watched Baiya walk in and stood aside patiently. Baiya walked in. First, she passed a vestibule. She lifted the black curtain and smelled the fragrance of wormwood. Sitting in front of her was a very young man. Chapter 423. He looked at her and smiled. You've changed your appearance and been reborn, but you still can't change your fate. Miss, please take a seat. Baya was slightly stunned. She actually knew that every famous quack was an expert in micro-expressions. They could judge from a person's expression, and they could also listen to useful information from the other party's words. However, to be able to accurately say that she had changed her appearance and was reborn, she was still very surprised. She sat in front of the Master Gufa. The Master Gufa handed her a brush. Write down a word and tell me, what do you want to test? Baya took the brush from the Master Gufa and wrote down a word on the rice paper. She put down the brush and said in a deep voice, I want to know how to change bad luck and let myself and my lover be safe. The Master Gufa looked at the word written by Baya. Man can conquer nature. Miss, you actually have your own idea. You study psychology, so you should be able to control other people's hearts. If you can control other people's hearts, what can't you do? Baya looked at the Master Gufa in surprise. She had changed her appearance and looked different from the previous Baya. The previous Baya had appeared in various major news magazines, so it was normal for him to know that she studied psychology. However, when she appeared as Wu Nian, he could be so sure that he didn't need to test her. Indeed, she was shocked. You mean if I do what I want, I can let my lover and I be safe? Baya continued to ask. The Master Gufa smiled. You killed too many people in your previous life, which made you who you are. You stepped on many corpses to stand under the sun, so in this life, you will experience many setbacks. However, it doesn't matter. You are originally a person above others, and it is inevitable that you will be stained with blood. The important thing is, don't leave a trace. If you don't do it cleanly, you will disappear from this world. Baya's heart skipped a beat. What do you mean by it is inevitable that I will be stained with blood? What do you mean by unclean? I will disappear from this world. What are you hinting at? Speak clearly, speak clearly. There are many things that need to be experienced by benefactor. That's all I know. Grandmaster Gufa's expression did not change. Baya stood up and glared at him sternly. I know that fortune tellers like you like to say ambiguous things and let others deceive you. In fact, you're just using your language skills. It doesn't count. Grandmaster Gufa smiled. If benefactor doesn't believe me, why come to my place? But you didn't tell me what I wanted to know. I only know how to predict fate. I'm not a deity who can predict the past and the future, and I don't have the ability to change everything. What you want to know, I've already told you the direction based on fate. As for the specifics, it all depends on how you go. How? You're right. I need to leave no trace in order to be safe and sound. But how can I leave no trace? Master Gufa is nothing but a fraud. Baya spoke harshly and turned around. Benefactor, please wait. Grandmaster Gufa stood up. Baya cast a sidelong glance at him. He smiled. You're an expert in psychology. As expected, you live up to your reputation. I'm impressed. Baya frowned. He asked suspiciously, You know me? I'm just guessing based on fate. I don't know you, benefactor. Grandmaster Gufa said gently. Baya pulled the chair back and sat down again. Now, I really want to hear what you mean by fate. Grandmaster Gufa also sat down and pointed at the word fate on the paper. All in all, benefactor relies on mouth for a living. When you came in, you looked at me as if you had seen through it. Because you felt that I was judging based on micro-expressions, and micro-expressions are your forte. The word next to the mouth is jia. It refers to the proof of someone with status. In other words, you're in this industry. You've received great honors. However, mouths also represent people. You are stepping on people with status, and these people with status have been buried in the yellow earth. If you leave a mark, then there will be a little bit of life on the word, but this word doesn't have it. Grandmaster Gufa explained. You judged it from the words I wrote? Baya was suspicious. Grandmaster Gufa smiled but didn't say anything. What if I rewrite a word now? Baya picked up the pen. Life can't be repeated. It's useless no matter how many words you write, Grandmaster Gufa said casually. Baya paused and put down the pen. She slowly stood up and looked at Grandmaster Gufa before turning around. Benefactor, remember to leave from the back door. Grandmaster Gufa reminded. Why? Baya didn't understand. Your husband doesn't believe in such things. If you leave from the front door, why would he be willing to come in? Grandmaster Gufa said confidently. This person's predictions were too accurate. It made Baya suspect that there were surveillance cameras here. Otherwise, how could his predictions be so accurate? She walked out with her head down. In her mind, she kept recalling what Grandmaster Gufa said. You're a person above others, so it's inevitable that you'll be stained with blood. The most important thing is not to leave any traces. If you don't do it cleanly, you'll disappear from this world. Stain with blood? Disappear from this world? She sat on the wooden chair under the ginkgo tree at the back door and stared blankly at the incense burner. The smoke curled up and slowly rose into the sky. After an unknown period of time, Gu Lingqing came out from inside. She saw that Gu Lingqing didn't look too good. She stood up nervously and walked to Gu Lingqing. She held Gu Lingqing's arm. Gu Lingqing looked at her pitifully and didn't say anything. What did he say to you? Baya asked worriedly. I don't believe anything a charlatan says, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. What he meant was that what Grandmaster Gufa said to him was something he didn't want to hear. That was why he was depressed. Baya saw through it but didn't say anything. She asked, what did you write? Baya's bye, Gu Lingqing said faintly and held Baya's hand. Let's go and burn some incense. Okay. She didn't ask any further. She bought some incense and paid for it with Gu Lingqing. She prayed devoutly and burned the incense. She looked at Gu Lingqing. He lowered his head and closed his eyes. He seemed to be chanting something. There was some sadness shrouding him. He was more devout than her. She remembered that he didn't believe in these things. She felt a little bitter in her heart. That proved that what Grandmaster Gufa said to him was not good. Not good at all. So he was actually afraid. Such a tough man actually had times when he was afraid. Her heart was very soft. She held Gu Lingqing's cold hand and smiled. She would do everything to protect him. Even if her hands were stained with blood, she wouldn't care. When she was an angel, she saved the dying, helped the injured, and delivered babies. God had never been kind to her. Chapter 424. They had dinner at the temple. When they got home, it was already 16 p.m. Baya was cooking in the kitchen while Gu Lingqing was working in the study. After she finished cooking, she took a look at the study upstairs and went out with her phone and trash. She threw the trash bag away and walked to the big pagoda tree to make a call. Alan, I want to find some mercenaries. Can you help me contact them? Baya asked directly. Yes, of course. What kind of mercenaries do you want? Alan said softly. He did not ask what she wanted the mercenaries for. He would give them to her if she wanted them. The best. I want 5 of them. Ask them to call me when you find them. I will transfer the cost to their card when the time comes, Baya said in a deep voice. Okay. How are you? Alan asked with concern. Well, I'm fine. How about you? Baya asked casually. Heh. Alan chuckled. I don't think I'm doing well. What's wrong? Baya asked with concern. I don't have a fiancé now and my family is pressuring me. I feel pressured at home. So, I might come to your place in advance. Is that okay? Alan sighed. Of course. Let me know when you are coming. I will pick you up at the airport, Baya said sincerely. Alan had helped her a lot. He never asked for anything in return and never forced her. She just hoped that Alan would be well. Then we will contact each other when you are here. I will hang up first. My grandmother is calling me. So, I don't think anything good will happen. Fortunately, she's not my girlfriend. Otherwise, I will be annoyed to death, Alan joked. Baya thought of Alan's grandmother. She smiled. When you are with her, you find her annoying. When you are not with her, you start to miss her. People are like this. You should cherish them. Well, that makes sense. I will hang up now, Alan said politely. Okay. After Alan hung up, Baya kept her phone and walked into the house. Gu Lingqing was looking for her. Where did you go? I was just about to call you out for dinner, said Baya with a smile. He washed his hands and scooped the rice without batting an eyelid. Gu Lingqing came over to take the bowl. Let's go to the movies tonight? There's a good movie recently. Sure, Baya agreed readily. He pulled out his chair and sat down to eat. He looked at Gu Lingqing. He didn't make a sound as he ate. He had cultivated himself for a long time. Even when he ate, he hated to look good. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing asked. If we have a daughter, the daughter will look like you and she will also be very beautiful, Baya said with a smile. Gu Lingqing smiled. Then I'll work hard. Baya's face was slightly red as she picked up a piece of pork for him. He lowered his head to eat. This feeling of eating was very blissful. After dinner, she went to wash the dishes. Gu Lingqing followed her into the kitchen to help her. I can do it alone, said Baya. I like to be with you, said Gu Lingqing in a deep voice. Gu Lingqing, Baya called out. Yeah. She looked at him. I'm still worried when I think about working at your company. Can you give me another week? I said I'm asking you to work at my company, but it's actually just a casual job. The main thing is that you can have an identity in the company. You don't have to worry. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to do it, comforted Gu Lingqing. I want to take my job seriously, Gu Lingqing. You'll spoil me too much. Gu Lingqing smiled. He looked at her with a smile in his eyes. I'm just afraid that I'm not good enough to you and let you run away again. I won't run away anymore. I'll be wherever you are. Even if I die, I'm still Gu Lingqing's ghost. I'll still be there wherever you are, said Baiya with a smile. That's good. All right then, I'll wash the dishes from now on. Baiya pursed her lips and smiled. She didn't reply to him and washed the dishes together. After they were done, they went out to watch a movie. Gu Lingqing drove. She booked a seat and went to watch the movie at 8:50 p.m. It was still early when they reached the cinema. Gu Lingqing went to buy some food while Baiya waited in the lounge. What a coincidence. We can bump into each other while watching a movie. Do you think this is fate? Su Jiran's voice was heard. Baiya turned her head. Su Jiran was standing behind her with a box of popcorn. Beside him was Tian Tian. She didn't expect Su Jiran to adopt Tian Tian. Indeed, it's not an ordinary fate. We can see each other every day. Is this a coincidence or on purpose? Baiya's lips twitched as she asked. Do you think I'm following you? Su Jiran smiled evilly. I believe that Mr. Su doesn't have a hobby of masochism, Baiya replied bluntly. I've been thinking, who are you? Who do you work for? How do you know so many things? Su Jiran asked suspiciously. No matter how much I know, I can't compare to even 1/10,000th of what Mr. Su knows. However, I think I happen to know one thing that Mr. Su wants to know the most, Baiya said with certainty. What do I want to know the most? Su Jiran continued to ask. Baiya's lips twitched. She didn't say a word and walked out. Su Jiran grabbed Baiya's arm. Just as his hand touched Baiya, it was grabbed by a stronger force. Gu Lingqing shook off Su Jiran's hand and said coldly, Stay away from her. Su Jiran looked at Gu Lingqing suspiciously and looked at the calm Baiya. He said in disdain, Gu Lingqing's love for women is nothing more than this. I wonder if Baiya is still alive. Gu Lingqing didn't want to bother with him. He held Baiya's hand and walked into the cinema. With a cold face, he walked to the back seat in the middle and sat down. He placed the plastic bag in his hand into Baiya's hand and looked at the screen with a gloomy expression. Baiya saw that he was unhappy. She ate a popcorn and said with a flattering smile, It's delicious. Do you want it? Gu Lingqing looked at Baiya with a pale face. Did you ignore what I told you before? I told you to stay away from Su Jiran in the future. What if I wasn't here just now? I was already walking away. He was the one who held my hand. Gu Lingqing frowned. Do you think that I don't know anything? Since I know that you are Baiya, I will definitely send someone to protect you. I know your every move. Baiya's face turned red. Including every word she said? Or did he only know what she had done? If I leave when I see him, it will make him suspicious. Baiya explained, I have to pretend to be very different from Baiya. Gu Lingqing held her hand. The more you say, the more mistakes you will make. The best way to hide is to keep him away from you. Baiya nodded. She knew that what Gu Lingqing said was right. However, her current purpose was not to make Su Jiran unable to recognize her. Instead, she wanted to know who was behind Gu Lingqing through Su Jiran. Chapter 425. The movie was very good. It was a hot-blooded patriotic action movie, mainly about the male lead thinking that his fiancée had died, so he went to Africa and gave up. In the end, there was a war and he stood up for the country in his own name, saving the people who were trapped. There was a scene in the middle that made Baiya's heart ache. The male lead was infected with a virus, and when he was unconscious, he dreamed of his fiancée. He held the bullet that went through his fiancée tightly, crying, You didn't come back. When she saw this scene, she cried. Tears blurred her eyes and everything she saw was hazy. Tears kept flowing and it was very sad. After she left, Gu Lingqing was even more depressed than him. She drank, smoked, and was hospitalized. If she didn't come back in the future, she didn't dare to think about it. She leaned on Gu Lingqing's shoulder. The future was too far and she couldn't think about it, nor could she control it. All she could do was cherish the present. After watching it, Baiya felt like it was not enough. It's really good, I really want to watch it again. Then let's come back tomorrow. These kinds of films that promote patriotism should be filmed more, Gu Lingqing said dotingly. Are you hungry? Baya asked, taking the initiative to hug Gu Lingqing's arm. Let's go for supper. What do you want to eat? Let's go to the buffet. There should be a place that specially serves supper. I'll check on the internet. She opened the mobile data on her phone, went on the app, entered the supper, buffet, and intelligently selected nearest. There really were a lot of places. I know where it is, follow me. Baya pulled Gu Lingqing's hand and walked. Gu Lingqing smiled and followed beside her. It was almost 11 p.m. Other than those who were watching the movie, there were occasionally cars passing by, but it was empty and very quiet. The light from the street lamp fell on the two of them, leaving a pair of shadows on the ground. They walked for 10 minutes and no one spoke, but they didn't feel lonely or bored. When they passed by the bridge, a gust of wind blew over. Baya looked at the lake. I remember our life on the island. Me too, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Baya smiled. That crab is really delicious. Bamboo shoot stewed with wild boar is also delicious, Gu Lingqing continued Baya's words. If you like, we can stay there for 2 days this weekend. Sure. She picked up her phone and glanced at the map. It was nearby. She stretched her neck and looked forward. She saw it. There. Yes. As they walked towards the Big Sheep restaurant, Baya's phone rang. Seeing that it was an unfamiliar foreign number, she guessed that it was a mercenary hired by Alan to answer the call. Hello, we are Silver Flame. Someone said that you need us, the other party said in English. Yes. Give me your email address. I will email you the details later. Baya said simply and then hung up the phone. Who is it? Gu Lingqing was suspicious. Baya took a deep breath and looked at Gu Lingqing. Her eyes were watery and she explained calmly, Lu Shuang is missing. I asked someone to look for her. It might be a good thing that she disappeared. No news is good news. Usually if you find her, others will find her too, Gu Lingqing reminded. I'm afraid that I won't even know what happened to her. Let's not talk about this anymore. Let's eat first. Baya didn't want to say more, afraid that Gu Lingqing would see through her. She pulled him into the restaurant and brought out a lot of food, filling up the table. Can you eat so much? Gu Lingqing was doubtful. Baya put the lamb roll into the hot pot. I still have you, right? Gu Lingqing smiled lovingly and answered softly, yes. Halfway through her meal, Baya looked around. She used to not eat at this late hour. When she was hungry, she would stay hungry for the whole night. Then she got used to it. She didn't expect that there would be so many people coming out for supper in the middle of the night. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing asked. Food is the sky. How vast is the sky here? Baya said jokingly. Gu Lingqing chuckled. As long as you want, I can make our sky more vast than theirs. I can make you fat so that there won't be so many people thinking about you. You mean that when I was fat, no one thought about me? Are you judging people by their appearance? Baya narrowed her eyes. If I judged people by their appearance, I wouldn't have forced myself on you at that time. Baya blushed. So you know that you used force. Gu Lingqing looked embarrassed. She cleared her throat and promised, I will treat you well. Yes, Baya replied. She believed him. After the meal they were too full. They walked back to the cinema together. The car was parked there. There were fewer people on the road. The weather in October was very cold at night, especially after coming out from the warm hot pot restaurant. Gu Lingqing took off his coat and wrapped it around her. Baya looked at him. He was only wearing a suit, but it didn't reduce his handsomeness at all. It added a layer of warmth to him. Gu Lingqing, it's an hour-and-a-half drive back. It's too far. You still have to work tomorrow. Let's stay in a hotel today. Baya suggested. Yes, he said indulgently. Stay near here. Baya waved her phone. Let me look for it. She searched for a hotel nearby on her app. There's one near the cinema. Let's go there now. Okay. Gu Lingqing put his arm around her waist and pulled her to his side. The two of them went there together. In the morning when she woke up, Gu Lingqing hadn't woken up yet. He was also tired last night. After all, he was the one who did all the work. She tiptoed to the bathroom, turned on her phone, logged into her email and saw the email sent by the mercenary. Your friend has already paid the advance. Don't worry, we've never failed before. We'll arrive in country A at 1936 country time tomorrow. What do you need us to do? Baya replied the email. After replying, she brushed her teeth, washed her face and left the bathroom. Gu Lingqing woke up. He got off the bed and kissed her on the forehead. Wait for me, I'll accompany you for your morning jog. It's okay if you don't go for a morning jog today. You can rest for a while more. Baya felt sorry for him. Then let's have breakfast together, Gu Lingqing said gently. Baya nodded. He went into the bathroom. She walked to the window and looked downstairs. Gu Lingqing said that he had sent someone to protect her in secret. It should be someone from the shadows. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to find out. If she wanted to act alone, she would have to ask someone from the shadows to follow her. What are you thinking about? Gu Lingqing put his arm around her waist from behind. Are the people from the shadows outside? Baya asked directly. Yes, they've always been here. Don't worry. Gu Lingqing didn't deny it. Where are they? In the car? Or on the road? Baya was suspicious. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.